Howdy, folks. Welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. I am Joe Treff. I am your GM this evening and most nights, and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan, Kara, and Olive, and also Ari, who is throwing me off. And so now, on a very neutral standpoint, I put this on for Dan mostly so that Dan could dance.
I know.
He needs a hula.
This is not jungle beats. Don't fucking disrespect it.
Oh my gosh. We can go into the lore of jungle music. But no, a couple quick announcements before we get into our Starfinder game. Firstly, your support makes all of this possible. Thank you so much for that, for subscribing here and on YouTube. We also have a Patreon with some behind the scenes content as well. There's entire sessions that are on Patreon only. There is at Albron RPG on all of those different things, as well as Instagram threads, Blue Sky, many of which are managed by Olive. We also last weekend played session 3 of Iron and Thorn, the original Cypher System game, using the Old Gods of Appalachia rule set, run by Kara. I played in that game. We also had Sable and Vincent and Alana. Hannah was unable to join us for that particular session, but we'll have a sidebar or something, I believe.
No, that'll be at the top of session 4.
Top of session 4. So you can join us in 2 weeks on Sunday when we play that live. Tomorrow, you can join our D&D crew at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where the Wandering Hearts fight the very structure that they are in, as we roll for initiative against the Maimer of the Maze. And then we have Monument Studios music. In addition to Sirenscape for Sound, there is a tremendous number of events, one-shots, anthologies that are coming up in the very near future. Next month, we have a ton of different things. The very first Alberon After Dark one-shot will be available for Patreon subscribers only. That is Alberon After Dark Deadly Sins, where all of the players will be taking on the individual aspects of the cardinal sins to rescue a poor, hapless town from the horrifically lawful church. And so we'll see that next month. There is also going to be Greater Than Greed, an epilogue one-shot to our first campaign that is going to tell and resolve the tale of Shay's uncle, Jeruxa, and a cardinal member of the first campaign plot. We are going to have a number of other things that are happening next month, including some Wheel of the Year, but you can see the announcements over on YouTube for the State of Alberon 2025. That is all the announcements that I have, aside from thanking Monument Studios and Sirenscape for Sound. It is time for this week's session of Mosaic Team 5. All right, and to you, Kara, with the recap.
And everyone is still here. No one has left. Mosaic Team 5. When last we played, we all awoke after a well-deserved rest after exploring a nuclear silo that had its nuclear missile removed. Weird. The team strategizes over a healthy breakfast of meat puck bacon and eggs? We plan to scope out the mutant sector during what has been labeled a crotch trot. We float the idea of contacting Mosaic. We ask Mesra for insight. We also learned that the sludgies have recently become increasingly aggressive and seem to have gained magical ability. We are also alerted to the fact that Short Point has a watch point directly next to the area we intended to originally enter from, and now have decided to enter via the Pit Fighters Guild. Shane also ate his first corn dog. Life-changing. We made our way to the industrial miasma, where Echo scouted ahead, providing visual information to the party behind, heading down the Angel's Slide. The team is alerted to a drone near the Shore Point Watch, and we arrive at a section of the district with moving shapes and squelching in the dark, where Gibbs casts a fog cloud to cover us, to disastrous effect.
Wah, wah, wah. Oh yeah, these people hate magic. Yeah.
Shade blazed in his runic plate armor, coming to Gibbs' aid, as Gibbs, normally a titan on the field, now the focus of ire as the sludgies focus on a spellcaster. Bubs caused mayhem in the dense fog, slamming the sludgies with his
Sledgehammer.
Sludgies with sledge.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah,
5 times fast.
No, will not. And Echo finally lands hits,
Yay!
taking reactions from those assaulting Gibbs.
Woohoo!
Yeah, you missed that. I hit things.
Wow. First time ever.
After the
I don't know if anybody saw this, but Dan did it again. He took the pizza.
I was
wet
not going to bring it
slap.
up.
He hit the keyboard.
Ew, you're gross. What a maniac. He's a madman.
You cannot say anything.
I don't do that. That's
Not
nuts.
that, but
Oh boy. Anyway, sorry.
in the middle
Karen.
of my recap, after the fight ends with us victorious, we take shelter in a now vacant building. Gibbs, having been turned into a feral, more rat-like version of herself, steps away from her bottle and discovers that she can cast magic, casting Remove Affliction, without the aid of her bottle.
What?
she
No one
got
else
she got a
knows.
little bit mutated.
Oh yeah, I got polymorph.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Shade realizes that the recent changes in the sludgies is due to contamination by Gaia's mutagen in some form. Gibbs also makes the connection that Bastion might be using drugs to increase his connection to the mystical, and his motives could involve using the mutagen in combination with the nuclear missile to create a chain reaction to cover the entire planet of Mars in the mutagen.
Well, probably more.
Dun dun.
Dun dun
If you're
dun.
handling the recap tomorrow, you can do it then. Unfortunately, ShorePoint has taken notice of us and watches us via drone. Shade feels a tracking bug that has been installed, and he backtracks it to the drone, keeping watch on them in turn. After our rest, we stalk out once more into the Sprawl, where we catch sight of another watcher in the darkness, a sludgy, but this one far more intelligent than the last. And as we continue to sneak along in the mist and the fog that is slowly killing us, this is where we begin our session.
Very nice. Even with distractions, thank you.
Oh, and
So-
no Spice is here.
Just showing up out of the mist.
Are you wearing your radiation suit or no though?
Should probably be wearing a radiation suit.
Only I'm wearing my like full on.
Oh,
Spice emerges from the mist, another arm coming out of their head. Yeah, no.
Guys.
It's like, so as you kind of approach catching up to the rest of the party, the radiation within the industrial sprawl is intense, and it's actually visible. You can see this miasma, and almost kind of like cloud that looks like fog at first glance, but as you touch it, it burns your skin. If you have a radiation sensor, it begins to tick. If you have a radiation badge, it begins to glow. This is something that is substantial and requires some kind of breathing protection and radiation protection. Are you doing anything for that?
Yeah, she'll, her suit puts on that layer of protection against radiation.
No problem. So Spice rejoins you, fully decked out against the radiation, and all of you now look at where across the street from you there is, down an alleyway, a hab complex that has fallen down, spilling its floors like a deck of cards across the street below, and in front of this there is like elements of buildings that once were. You can see like rooftop that has fallen down to the ground, elements of concrete, sort of foundation and sidewalk crumbling around it. There is stuff that has kind of spilled out onto the ground there, and in fact, you can see it a little bit at home on our battle camera. You can see it in even greater detail if people take pictures
Olive's back.
at Albron RPG.
So we all saw the ambush coming.
I believe Shade is the only one that has seen it so far. And so,
No, we all.
No, we all saw.
oh,
we
you all
rolled
saw
above
it.
a
Oh, that's
32.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
guys
got
rolled
stupid.
crazy good at the end of last session. Right.
So
So you can see, beyond, within the actual intact structures, even further beyond, like where I'm sitting, there are smokestacks that rise up and billow smoke, automated factories that form the still functional core of the industrial sprawl. This is sort of the outskirts and the broken elements, and within here, you can see where pipes have cracked and fog kind of rolls out. There is the kind of individual. And you can see them in that building on the second floor. They are lurking. That is a super mutant from Fallout Miniature, but that is, in fact, a very similar looking to the other sludgies. This pallid purple-blue flesh that looks almost like a bruise across the entire body. You can see the face sunken in. There is no neck. It almost forms like they almost look like a starfish in their shape. You can see there is still greasy black hair that falls down around their shoulders, but they gaze out with a almost frog-like face at all of you. And they kind of go across you. You don't know if they've seen you yet or not, but they are certainly oriented in your direction. You imagine approaching this area will certainly catch their attention if you are not incredibly stealthy or have some other way of approaching. You can see between the kind of fallen stacks of buildings, there is this open alleyway, but the terrain is a little bit difficult within. Yep. Beyond there, it opens up a little bit more, and you can see there are open roads and avenues beyond, and the roofs kind of come a little bit lower. You wouldn't be able to fly over these buildings because the roofs come so low beyond. You really do need to go either through this alleyway or force your way through the structures proper.
So this is, does this look like it's just kind of a natural fortress based on the destruction, or is it like, this is an intentional blockade, right?
Make a sense motive check.
Would I be able to aid Shade with that?
How are you hitting?
I want to look up on the infosphere because this was once a habitable place.
Sure.
I want to find just like tourist brochures or like.
So before you make your check, make a cultures check.
I want to do this to aid Shade.
Okay. We're gonna see how helpful your
Can I
information
argue
might
that
be.
it's an engineering check because it's looking at the
16.
structural nature of
Sure.
it?
It'll get you different information, but sure.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, because it looks like, I don't know, but yeah, I don't
16 plus 12 is
know. I guess I'll do something.
28?
Yeah, I'll do something.
With a 28, with a 28, I had to do the math again. You pull up your communicator and you look on the infosphere. It's kind of hard to look out through like the fog of your mask, but you can see within the sort of almost like Wikipedia-like articles about what this place once was. This is a place that has collapsed due to the poor maintenance of the substructure below. And so this is not intentionally like blockaded in this way. I would say, Shade, make an engineering check, take a +6 conditional modifiers. Bubbles tells you this is something that fell naturally. And you can see as the ground is disturbed, that does make sense.
How's 47.
those.
Sorry, 48.
I like those numbers.
You see cracks along the steel infrastructure that would hint at great amounts of stress from something collapsing slowly over time and then all at once. And that is something that is, well, not natural. None of this is natural.
Consistent with degradation of the
Correct.
materials.
Very much. You are looking at degradation over time from something that hasn't been maintained. And further, you are seeing that this is a very natural choke point, and this creature or perhaps other creatures taking advantage of that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Can I pull out my binoculars?
You take out
And
the
look
2 bottles.
through the butt crack and see what dangers like might be embedded in the
perception check.
walls or
Sure.
Are there any structural weak points along something like here above this guy, or
With your engineering check, those 2 struts that you are seeing right there, those are elements of the building that are kind of left that at one point formed a 3rd floor, and back there formed part of a like bridge to a other structure. It no longer does. Those are still, you could stand on them. Standing on them would be risky. They are quite weak. The remaining elements of buildings themselves are pretty sturdy with the exception of that overhanging roof. A great enough explosion there, you could probably topple it into the crack and crush something. And that's several tons of steel.
yeah?
Aside from that, the settling has mostly occurred.
Okay.
27.
With a 27, you peer out, and sure enough, you see this creature. You could see toad-like it stands, the head kind of sunken into the soft, pallid flesh of the body. And there are other creatures as well. You can see that there are 3 more.
Creatures. 3 more.
Whatever we do, we need to make sure that
You can see that there is one lurking behind this crate. on the inside. On the inside of that door underneath, there's one right there. And then lurking behind this table, there's a guy also.
We gotta make sure that
Crack's got hemorrhoids.
we walk carefully because I don't want a whole building falling on me.
There are structural weak points here, here, and here. I'm going to point those places out. We could use those to our advantage and avoid their ambush
By ambushing ourselves.
by attacking them before they can attack us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're gonna be the ambush ourselves.
Yes, Captain. Right away, Captain.
We are the ambush now.
She is not wrong. But also, they have seen us.
A vibe check. Have they seen us? Or are they
With
like...
your perception check, make a sense motive check. I would say nothing's rushing out and attacking you.
34.
With a 34, this creature looking out, gazing almost passively, it feels almost like a mine. Like it's lying in wait. This is like an ambush predator. The other ones, you can see they move a little bit more, but nothing currently alert to your presence. At the moment, as a group, you feel pretty hidden.
There's nothing alert to their presence, but the second I take one step, they're gonna see it.
And what was that check?
That was a sense motive to if they'd seen us.
Yeah, what was the perception was 27?
It was higher than that. It was 34.
Your perception check also would tell you that off on the left-hand side, there is within that building something that is not as it should be. There is what looks like maybe an element of rubble in the darkness. You can't quite make it out, but it flickers. And it's not. It's a hologram. But that's not quite it either. This is some kind of a magical, maybe holographic terrain covering something else. And that pings you as potentially dangerous.
And there's magical holographic terrain hiding something else, either of value or of danger. But either way, it sounds really nifty. It's right there where that convenient little dice is.
It would seem as if they are guarding something beyond this area. It may be wise to regroup and make a more concerted effort. We were initially only here for reconnaissance.
That sounds like a good plan, Captain.
Weren't we gonna go all the way to Bastion and see if Bastion's actually got the nuke and then get the thing and then finish the Ares quest? Otherwise, we're gonna have to do this whole thing all over again.
I do see Gibbs' point.
We already came this far.
If we are going to continue, we should prepare ourselves more readily for the combat. I'm gonna start putting on the fucking extra radiation suit and stuff.
Cool, that's what you mean. I was like, well, level up! We just talked about that!
Gibbs, we must grind a slow level job.
Like, that's
have
what
to
I
go back
wanted
to
originally!
level 1 fields to go kill some bunnies.
You go back to the laundromat, Bubbles collects all of his XP from the machine.
Yeah.
Bubbles instantly level 30.
Plus 5 coins.
But Bubbles has been playing the idle game all along, and we're all like sitting there like actively clicking cookie clicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put my little thing
He's
on
like,
the
"Oh,
wash
guys, I've
machine
been
and it just
playing-
shakes it.
Yeah, exactly.
Laundryville? Oh, man.
So you don some extra radiation protection. Is there anything else that any of you are doing?
Okay, as long as we're in that radiation gear, though, it's what, -6 to stealth, you said? Because I've been taking...
That's
-4? Okay.
May I provide further reconnaissance past the holographic projector?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, you're the only one who can. Be safe. Sneak.
Where are you trying to sneak to?
I am attempting to sneak where Gibbs has pointed out the holographic projector.
Okay.
And that's in this building-ish? Or is it
Yeah,
in this rubble?
I'll get a yellow dice and I'll put it there so it's easy to see.
That dice there's yellow.
It is right there.
Nice. Yeah.
Can that be done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful.
Make a stealth check.
Alerting one of them will likely alert more.
Fair point. Let me read my tea leaves. Let's see how stealthy I am.
I like that.
I'm 35 for stealth.
With a 35, Echo just sinks down against the terrain and skulks up in a way that is both quick, incredibly efficient, and more importantly, ultra quiet. You don't disturb any of the rubble, and there's a lot of it. There are like broken elements of machinery. There is broken bits of pavement that would easily crumble and make quite a bit of noise, but you are fleet of foot and you make your way over very quickly. Make a perception check, Echo, as you approach.
36.
With a 36, as you get closer, you can see certainly this thing that Gibbs has pointed out. It looks like a very inconspicuous piece of cylindrical concrete, and then it kind of flickers, and there is something gruesome looking underneath. It looks almost like maybe a corpse. There is twisted bits of flesh, and for just a moment, you are drawn back to Zon Kuthan and perhaps things even early in your history. And then just again, it is concrete cylinder. There is something dangerous there. It doesn't seem mechanical. It doesn't seem technological. And you pull up before getting too close. You're not sure how close you want to get to that.
Right. Echo, if Echo's able, would wait for like the timing and like then like send the video like with a still frame back to the team.
Okay. So you take a picture, you send it. It's a little blurry, but for the rest of you on your communicator, an image pops up. And it looks exactly as I described, like a weird biological mass that is caught in the weird after image of this concrete block.
Can I get any sense of the biology and what, like, you know how like some spiders have like little trap doors and then they like flip up? Like, what's his like this ambush? How is he ambushing?
Gibbs, I would say for this, make a mysticism check.
So this is not a hologram.
Not quite.
Ooh.
And it's basically like concrete slab, and then there's like just a flash of, or like a glitch.
When they plant a
like,
street sign into the ground, there's like a piece of concrete. It looks almost like that.
Okay.
34 again.
With a 34,
For mysticism.
you can see through the rubble and debris. In this picture, you are looking at the effects of holographic terrain. It is a spell. It is something that can hide and change the appearance of an area and of equipment and things. And when you know that, your brain seems to almost deconstruct it and pull it away, and you can see truly what's underneath. This is a stack of bones that is clung together and kind of bound with bits of twine and string, elements of garments perhaps that have been pulled apart. And you can see within the actual bits of bone, there are elements of like glyphs. At first, you almost mistake them for just bits of sludge, but it's glyphs that kind of move and curl even across. And it speaks to you of some kind of almost psychic scream were you to approach. And you imagine looking at this, what was the check?
It was 34 for mysticism.
Nice.
There are marks on this that are immediately, your fur just bristles. You imagine dying to this is dying for real.
Oh! Can I, as a last thing, blink detect magic through my binoculars?
Yeah.
Is this spell casted by the same spellcaster I've been worried about?
It is not.
Ooh, is it older?
It is older.
Okay.
It is a little bit less powerful. This is a level 13 effect.
Holy shit. I will reiterate that, and it'll be telepathy, so that way Echo can hear it. I'll be like, stay away from that. If you die to that, there's nothing I can do. You are dead. You are gone. I can't resurrect you. I can't do anything to help you.
And you would imagine the effect is when this totem is able to sense you. And that probably has like a circle around it. You don't know what that range would be. Probably not super long, but without knowing, even getting through that alleyway, you probably want to stay on the far, far side.
Would a grenade suffice to eliminate its properties?
I don't think so. This is dark and eldritch and beyond my capabilities. Best to be avoided altogether.
Understood.
How would you go about destroying something like that? Given our experience,
You
like,
don't have experience.
Make a flat intelligence check.
I've like dealt with magical things.
You have,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's a flat intelligence check.
Echo,
Whoa.
not even in the teacup.
Not even on the teacup, not even on this plane of
For
existence.
the teacup, I can't roll these in the teacup.
Oh, I
It'd
just
shatter.
drop it.
Well, this would just shatter.
Oh,
it,
yes,
'cause
the
it's
metal
heavy,
one.
Heavy metal die.
Heavy metal die.
The problem for you, Shade, is not that you don't know how, it's that there's too many different ways. You've used fire, you've used ice, you've used the keen edge of a sword.
The power of
And we
The
friendship.
haven't
power of friendship,
dealt with this
love.
specific type
Yeah.
of magic. I don't know magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spice, do you
Bones.
have
It's the theme.
that
Who cares?
I
teleporting?
can just blow
ability.
up bones.
Maybe.
Do you think maybe, I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe, I don't know where we'd be teleporting to. That'd be kind of scary. I don't want to end up in another ritual place, but I mean, I have this map.
And I'm gonna show the map that I pulled up.
Does your map show anything useful beyond this place?
I'm gonna like make an overlay and like kind of do an artistic rendering of like the map that I looked up, and then kind of like make a little rubble over it.
We're kind of passively hiding over here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
no, you guys are
hiding.
actively hiding right now.
Okay.
So right now, you guys are quite
Okay,
hidden.
so we're not. Okay.
No.
Except for Echo.
So I show
But
them-
also,
one of-
actively hidden.
one of them actually has made one active check, and you guys are still good.
I show the map to Spice.
what do you think?
So this map, to be clear, it's like the neighborhood as it was like 20 years ago, and so it's not that different, just better. And it isn't that big either. So you're just seeing like what you're seeing now, but in better detail. You're seeing like a couple of fake trees. You're seeing some trash cans. You're seeing a bus stop at one point.
Echo sends the picture of them like holding up a hand across the telepathic bond. Rather than guessing at where we will land, I could go further around the totem quietly and find a good place for Spice to teleport the rest of us to.
Yeah.
This music
I know. I
for
just
this
realized.
section.
No, it's very mini
I'm building my Sims character right now.
I know. Yeah. I got you. Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Aye aye. Be safe.
All right.
Don't fuck it up.
I can't help you in any meaningful way, but avoid that thing.
Echo will
Avoid the thing.
avoid the thing
Okay. As a bonus action.
as a bonus action, and Echo is going to sneak this way
Okay.
and attempt to like go using their climb speed, go up and over
Nice.
this way.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Good luck, bro.
And this you imagine is a pretty high DC.
Climbing crumbling buildings? Nah.
Worst
DC
case
5.
scenario.
One would think I remember my modifier after
If
using it
things
like
start to
7
look
times
like
in the
they're
last
going
session.
south, I'm gonna try to
Make it
back
not.
up.
36.
Yeah.
36.
A 36.
That's not bad.
With a 36, you exceed what you needed by
Yay.
1. As you effortlessly just hurtle over this, it is less that you are stealthy and more that you are fast. It only takes you maybe 3 steps to make the way across. It is 1 from where you stand all the way across the road into that first barrel, and then with just a single thrust of your leg, you all the way up. There is no climb speed. It is a single jump, and you time the momentum so that your feet land perfectly on the edge, and it balances out. And so there is the slightest beneath your foot, and you can see beneath you this creature. The hair kind of crawls up, and you can see the eyes loll about in the head, likely not using them for sight necessarily. It holds a hand up, and you can see the hand instantly begins to rot and fester, and they look and kind of move over. As they move, you can see the legs, they lumber and the bones crack within. They are likely broken and held together through something other than just muscle and regular biology, but they peer out, and all of you now can see this huge form looking out, and Echo just disappearing above. Echo, you can move over to the other side as they look. You barely are able to get by them. You can see this other creature barely even recognizes that anything has happened, kind of rooting around through this box. But up on the top here, you can look over. There is a creature that is behind that crate amongst the rubble. Over here, there is a primarily open avenue, about 40 feet wide. There's little elements of like rusted out cars and things like that. So there's plenty of places to hide, and plenty of places to teleport to.
Echo wants to like survey the scene past in the 40-foot area,
Sure.
and look for an area that seems to be covered, but the area would be like safe enough that no one's going to teleport into rubble.
Sure. So looking around, you can see that there is over there much more enclosed. The hab complexes come together a little bit more and form overarching walkways and secondary stories where it feels like an avenue, but looking up, you can see there is a ceiling and there's elements of glass that are broken out to show you that 100 feet above that, there is another ceiling and broken elements of glass. And like you are in this huge hive of a structure, but a little bit more open immediately where you are. There is what looks like maybe a parking garage. And where it kind of descends down a little bit into a ramp, there is spaces that are wide open and concrete with big, like, stable walls and ceilings above. Likely, at least out of sight from the rest of the street and overarching kind of windows.
Echo, knowing their audience, draws in like the early 2000s web sparkly lines that like have the little animation.
Nice.
With the emoji and arrows pointing like that goes here.
So,
and,
yeah.
and
Aye,
transmits that to Spice.
No problem.
I will say that this baby only works once per day. So once we get in, we're gonna have to figure out how to get back
Don't
out
worry.
again.
I can get us out. Look at my new tiara. I combine it with these goggles I have, and it also wear it with this hat that I found.
It's likely that we'll be dealing with much more resistance past this blockade. So going further is the more pressing matter.
Okay.
How does this teleporting work? Do we have to like hold hands?
Yes,
or
we have to
something?
hold hands, right? Right.
We all have to. Everybody now get in a circle.
Yay!
Put your palms in mine.
Okay.
Bob is gonna grab Spice's hands and he's gonna
Oh.
be
Are you
like,
gonna do the thing?
yeah, yeah.
You
I was
ruined
gonna-
it.
Bubs is gonna like
Sorry.
go to do it, but then he's like, no.
Okay. For just a moment, there is that familiar sensation of the thumb beginning to twitch, but nothing happens. Shade puts their hand in. Gibbs puts their hand very eagerly in Paul, right in yours. And you teleport everybody over.
I know how magic works.
Yeah. Her hands get oddly sweaty. As
I missed that.
Ew. Clammy.
Relationship
yeah.
is weird.
I can touch. Yeah, as long as everybody's willing, blah, 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 blah. We land in a safe place. We don't shunt. 400 feet plus 40 feet per level. We can go wherever we want.
No.
I like the-
Disney
but
World.
We can go a decent distance. Probably
So that's where you're
half a
going?
mile.
Yep.
All right. With your,
I follow the sparkly blue arrow, and she's like, pop, there.
no problem. With the technology that you have available to you, you're able to visualize the place that Echo has indicated, and with everybody holding your hand, you teleport them. And for all of you, the clammy sweat that is in Spice's hand for a moment crackles with electricity, and your arms are all left numb as you appear within this parking garage.
That's fine.
There is an echo, a slight tss, tss, tss of electricity that goes off. But Echo, even from where you are, maybe like 50 feet away across the street, you barely hear it. You turn. Nobody seems to have noticed. And Echo, if you make your way back over to them, you have successfully made your way through this encounter.
Yay!
That was smart. I didn't think about that.
That was really good.
We didn't die.
That was really good. You find yourself now within this parking garage. I would say everybody make perception checks. As you arrive in a new space, all of you kind of instinctively look around you.
Nice.
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30.
40.
Okay.
Oh, you're tired out.
26.
You gotta find time at the strip club and now you're tired.
You got one brain cell left.
25?
Literally. One.
24.
Yeah.
24, yes.
With a 40, you are the only one that really notices this, but this is a widely open sort of ramp that descends down into the first layer of a parking garage. You can see at one point it went down further, but it is now full up with water that comes up, and it's a color that makes you think it is probably not potable. Deep, rich black brown. But here, across this almost kind of like lake, you can see there is this kind of form hunched, and it looks humanoid at one point anyways, now almost melted into this liquid. You can also see with the 40 at the edge of this almost pond that is formed as a result of the collapse, there is writing. It's not common necessarily. It's written in what looks almost like toxic sludge. And I would say if you want, you could make a mysticism check.
Fucking yeah! Can I point it out too and be like, "We need to be cautious down there. There's a
Spice,
sludge
can't you read
creature."
like every language ever?
So Spice, having,
Hey,
zapped.
Okay. 14.
14. You look
That's
around.
for mystical shit.
This could be. It also just might be random lines of
Might
like
also be,
sludge.
like literal shit.
Yeah, your olfactory glands turn off because this is certainly sewage.
They're turned off.
I rolled a natural 1 on my perception,
Oh, no.
so Spice is like doing this with her hands to get rid of the sweat. She's probably still thinking about how Bubbles touched her. and
Sure.
she's like,
Can I look at the sludge?
Make a mysticism check.
Written in
Sure.
Bubs is
some-
thinking about wiping his hand, but he doesn't.
A million. Sorry, mysticism 23 plus 14 is 37.
A 37. With a 37, you are looking at what looks like a mystical warning. This is an individual who had magic flowing through them almost intuitively, and in their final moments, they marked that there is something immensely dangerous here. And you can see that there are little lines that kind of flick away as if they tried to draw an arrow. And following that, you can see what looks like a tiny little circle of steel, rusted over now, but at one point you can see like really advanced looking digital circuitry inlaid into it. At one point it had little elements of light that probably glowed from the seams, now inert, but this seems to be perhaps a trap. You can see it is like popped open.
So sorry, how big is a circle of steel?
Like this big, tiny, hard to spot. And that draws you back to this kind of mystical element. It seems to be warning about that in particular. And with that check, looking around, you're noticing this structure is not collapsed, just the bottom floor is.
Yeah.
And it's collapsed in a very spherical way, almost like the area of effect of a spell. And you're realizing that this person may have been caught in a very similar thing to that circle. And you're recognizing that perhaps in this immediate area, there are these sort of traps sprinkled around.
Does that circle of steel give off a magical aura?
Even after it has been expanded, it does, in
Okay.
fact, give off a dull magical aura.
So does that mean if I'm detecting magic, can I actively see any other similar pimples of?
What is the range on that spell?
I think it's my.
I like how you use the word pimples to describe magic.
Well, the little steel circles are like that big. When they are activated, they just kind of pop open. So, it's
It's a 60-foot cone-shaped emanation from me.
okay. So you gaze across the space
Yeah.
with your magical vision, and as you do, blip, 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 3 of these things are within the space. They would almost cover the entire floor. Any of the other parts of the floor that you would go to beyond just the ramp, so maybe 30 feet down,
Yeah.
would likely activate one of these. And you're getting the sense that whatever this magic is, it increases the gravitational pressure
Okay.
by a lot. You look at the collapsed structure of the ramp that goes down to the second floor. You're not talking about like doubling the gravity. You're not talking about like tripling it. You're talking about perhaps an order of magnitude, maybe a little bit more than that.
So the ramp goes into the puddle.
Yeah, the ramp just goes straight down, and then it's just puddle. It's so murky, you can't actually see if there is a second floor still intact or if it's just the ground come up. It is
And then
A
it used
humanoid creature
in the puddle?
is
yeah, like
on
the
edge of
head
it,
sort of and shoulder, but it's just a muddy looking bump almost that suggests a
almost
person.
like a crocodile in the
Kind of, yeah,
water,
yeah,
but
a little bit, but just the shoulder and the head. And you can see almost like mud or perhaps something a little bit more foul has settled across them and
And
dried.
this is probably the dead body of the person who made the warning.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It certainly looks like it would be within their radius. And when you look at the arrow kind of flicks, it looks like they reached their arms all the way out and then flicked some of this sludge away to make these kind of directional paths. But yeah, perhaps.
It's a warning on these like little things that I can see. You see that little circle of steel? Like, that's gonna really mess you up with gravity.
Is that so is the magical trap the steel circle and the sludge is just still like sludgy sludge
Seems to be.
unrelated? Okay. So those magical steel circles are holding gravity spells essentially? Is that and there are more
Does that
Please
seem
Make an
around
engineering
the-
check.
placed around
With
this
the mysticism check,
portal?
it is a magical effect, but spell is not right.
One at the top, one at the
Rolling
bottom, and then it equals
poorly
out.
tonight, but that's still a 29.
With a 29 in this kind of condition, it's hard to tell. If you got closer to one that was less damaged, blip, blip, blip. Gibbs had indicated 3 within the space. You could probably find out more. But with the 29 from this inert one, hard to tell. It looks like there was a logo on it before it rusted over.
It could just be adhered. Like, it could be a mine that's just adhered, and the magic is the adherence. But that's what I'm detecting, not necessarily the spell itself.
If
But-
it's mechanical, I may be able to disable them before they trigger.
I pull out a laser pointer and I highlight one. Yeah, there's one. But be careful, the gravity is messed up and we're on the second floor. It's gonna really hurt you.
Where's the nearest one?
The nearest one is at the very bottom. It looks like this person took a running jump and then leapt over and they hit the second one. There is one directly in front.
Oh, okay. So closer than the inert one.
Correct.
Okay. How, using his dead body,
Mhm.
assuming that was the guy who triggered the trap, how far away is it so that I could try to estimate a blast radius or a sensor radius so I can get closer to get a better visual of it without tripping it myself?
I would say pretty easily. It's only about 10 feet wide.
Oh,
Assuming that
do
they're
you
all
want
the
my
same.
binoculars?
You want that +1 to the percept check?
Is it the binoculars that
They
gives the-
work, and you don't have to tune to them. They're just a mechanical
Does that-
item.
do they still work for me too?
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
binoculars.
they're literally-
Wow.
It barely helps. It gives you a +1 to your perception
But they're
check.
all filled with
And it takes both. It takes one hand. But so functionally in most situations, there are better ways to do that. But
One
Gibbs has found
eye.
a way to get a very slight advantage.
So it's
I'm missing an
technically-
eye. I need it.
It's technically not
She
a
does.
binocular for me though.
I like
It's
to,
either,
either of you,
rather
actually.
it's
It's really a
either.
monitor.
I
It's
hold it to the
spyglass.
side.
I like
So,
to imagine that
You don't need to make a
there's
perception check.
circle
You
right
can
on Shane's
tell
face
it is
when he
about
takes
10
it
feet
down.
wide.
Okay.
That is where the water is deepest, and it maybe moves a few inches beyond there where it's uneven around it. But it's a pretty localized area, and then whatever the gravitational effect is, it's intense.
Okay. I would get close enough that I can get a better visual understanding of it
Okay.
without getting within that blast radius or trigger radius.
So you close within 15 feet. You stay, 5 feet outside of the radius that you understand would be dangerous, and nothing triggers. Make an engineering check or a perception check, your choice. Is anybody else doing anything while this happens?
I'm gonna watch Shade and pull him back, I guess, if he dies. I don't know.
Okay, you get ready to get down, Mr. President. Shade.
Yeah.
That's 44.
No, get up because gravity.
44, okay.
Bubs is gonna look
Oh,
at
wait.
his hand. And,
Oh no, I didn't get the +1.
decide. No, moving forward, and then he's gonna take out a wipe and he's gonna wipe off his hand.
Very nice. Every last bit of sweat you get off your hand. For you, Shade, as you get closer to the device and you look down, this is a very high-tech device. Almost certainly a trap that has been laid. And it is not one like the one that Echo allowed all of you to avoid that seems to be more mystically oriented and a little bit more made from perhaps the sludgies. This seems to be Actually, no seams. It's a 44. You can see that there is a logo on this one. It is a lighthouse. And this was laid by
Short
Shorepoint.
point.
This is something that you've heard of before. It's very advanced technology. It is called a null magic compression seal. And you actually understand as you get a little closer, you could stand right on top of it and it wouldn't go off. If somebody were to cast magic near it, it will. And had Gibbs gotten a little closer, it would have been very problematic for you.
Everybody hates me here.
And Gibbs, there's something to that. But for you, Shade, you get the sense that this is something that in this 10-foot radius increases the gravitational pressure by 20 times. It deals a tremendous amount of force damage across multiple rounds, and while you're within the effect, you know that spellcasting and teleportation does not work.
I feel like most things wouldn't work under 20 times the gravity.
Yeah, teleportation and spellcasting can, but 20 times is a lot. 20 times is, you look and you can see like it pulled part of the building
9.85
down.
meters per second times 20.
It's a lot, and it is actually even worse than that from a math standpoint. But
Yeah, well, because exponential increases.
you know and understand all of that about this thing.
Oh, I'm gonna tell everyone, do not cast magic. These are Shorepoint null magic compression seals.
I blink and let detect magic drop because
Yeah.
I am constantly casting passive magic.
These could be useful. Knowing that these are useful, can I make them safe to transport without getting triggered by our
Huh.
party to be used later on?
That's
So you-
game breaking.
Reach out to these things wirelessly with your exocortex, and you find that they're almost blank. They feel just like smooth metal across your electronic senses. The same effect that prevents teleportation or spellcasting makes it so that you cannot hack them remotely.
I meant like
You could manually
physically.
do it.
Right.
With something this
would be
advanced, there is
difficult.
probably some tamper
Right.
resistant,
Tamper-proofing, yeah.
and so there is risk to that for sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yes, of course it's possible.
If only we had a drone.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
would-
if only we had a drone. Where? I don't see
I don't
one.
think I would
Make a
trust-
perception check, Spice.
I don't think
Okay.
I would trust the drone to do something that delicate.
You're good. You can use my dice. I don't.
Sarcastically,
I'm not
Spice
weird
kind of
about it.
standing at the edge of the garage on the avenue, like looks around. I don't see one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are we talking about the Shorepoint drone still?
Oh, you're talking about cinema
Simicu.
too.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, Spice
Okay,
was.
good.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
all on the same.
Yeah,
Perception
we're-
check?
It's an 18.
An 18. The only drone that you see is Cinema Q.
Which no one can see because she's invisible.
There you go.
So now that I know that Shorepoint is involved further in, and they did try to track us before, that's pinging more danger and involvement with Shorepoint.
Well, don't you think it might be Shorepoint trying to contain whatever eldritch bullshit is behind us? Like, these are environmental hazards, but I don't think these are targeted to us. You know, these are old. Look how long dead that guy's been.
How old are these?
They've been here for some time, I would say, with your engineering check. The one that's corroded no longer had the field around it that protected it. The other ones are they still have like that paint on them, and so
Okay.
they're in pretty good shape, but probably pretty old. And Gibbs had mentioned it feels like everything here hates me, and that's true. These traps are not here against you or Gibbs
They're against
necessarily.
sludgy-
Almost certainly.
Almost.
So,
Okay.
but the sludgies hate magic, and the Shorepoint hate magic.
Make a sense motive check.
Is there something else magical that both of them hate more than anything?
I'm gonna use my reroll because that was a
Sure. Good place for it.
That was a good reroll because that makes it something better. But I'm not good at sense motive. But that was still it makes it a dirty 20, which is really good for me.
These traps seem designed to keep this building clear from like sludgy infestation. And the place that you guys just passed, those like little nooks and crannies, the closed in elements within the debris, perfect places for them to live. And so this seems designed to keep them away from this. And with that in mind, it would be hard to like move around with this many traps. This seems to be maybe a perimeter. There must be something valuable, and you've seen like the smokestacks and the industry beyond. And so this seems to be almost like a barrier, really designed to keep them out.
Right. Which has failed. to some extent, because now they've kind of
Quite a bit.
yeah.
But there are still remnants, and you would imagine as you progress through the industrial sprawl, this is something to look out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gibbs, I don't know the answer to that, but maybe SharePoint was here at some point, and I don't know, maybe they lost the area to the sludgies or something.
That seems to be what happened. We need to be cautious as we move forward. We'll be dealing with both the sludgies and the remnants of ShorePoint's interference here.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I'm innately magical, and I carry a lot of magical items on me. I think this is dangerous, but we should keep going.
We will be cautious and keep you away from them.
Okay.
At the worst, you can sit on Bubbles' shoulders.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and I skitter right up. I don't wait for an invitation.
You can feel the little claws kind of digging into your body, but yeah, no problem.
Okay, and then I have my laser pointer, and I'm not going to detect magic, but can I visually identify them? It's just harder.
Yeah,
It's
you definitely
fucking
can.
with my IR vision.
As you move about, you are on the lookout for these traps.
Cool. And I'm going to drive Bubs like Ratatouille. And
With no hair, though. Good luck.
You just plunge your fists into his skull, grab onto his brain, and just start wiggling it around.
Ears.
yeah.
Yeah. no
And I got my
problem.
laser pointer and I got my driving, and I'm like, don't step there.
Yeah,
10 feet
meat puck
radius.
on a string, and you just kind of lead Bubs around. No problem. You
I
make your
figured
way.
together we navigate.
Echo sees like Shade's concern about how like Echo is just like, yeah, just sit on Bub's shoulders. And Echo's just like, false confidence is better than no confidence. Just
don't care.
direct.
Are you all making your way out and then around the building and further into the
We can
industrial
get around the
sprawl?
puddle, right?
You don't even need to go through the puddle. That
Okay.
puddle, you don't know if there's anything through there. It's so dark and brackish. And with that person kind of like partially out, you would imagine there is not a great depth to it.
It's like the corner of Fallout where you could just go
Very
and start
much, yeah.
drinking a bunch of the water if you want.
Literally that, yes.
Echo would continue the 20 feet ahead and visual feedback to group
Okay.
method.
I want to keep eyes out for any electronic surveillance or interference here, because it seems like that kind of stuff would be more indicative of current involvement and active involvement.
Make a computer's check if you want that check to only include things within your exocortex range, or a perception check if you want a wider range.
I would like the wider range.
Okay.
That was a cool roll, and it was also a good roll.
Yay!
Nice.
I love that.
We love cool good rolls.
That's a 42.
With the 42 looking around, you can see that along the alleys and roads that you are beginning to traverse around, there is not a lot of electronics. There is like a lot of ruined buildings and broken open walls where wiring has been pulled out. A lot of the things that are here to salvage have been salvaged or taken. You don't see a lot of electronics, but I will say with that check, Spice had missed this, but Spice had said, like, I don't see any drones around here. And you look up, and you do. You can see a ShorePoint observation drone about 100 feet up, like scraping the bottom of the ceiling, right where like the broken bits of wire hang down. It has the poorer version of the cloaking technology that you had seen previously. This kind
So
of
this is a different drone.
this is similar to the one that you had seen depart that Overwatch facility. And it's sort of hanging back. It doesn't seem to be progressing further with you. Where you all enter the parking garage, it seems to be hanging out in that area. It doesn't seem to be following further.
Okay, but it is a distinctly different one than the one that I had tracked earlier, but it's similar make.
Very similar make. Like identical make, but
so
different drone.
probably sent out another one. Does it seem like it was following us specifically, or is it doing its kind of standard patrol like the other one had been?
Hard to tell, but
But now that we're down
unlikely
here-
that it would be in the same place as you.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be going further.
Right. Okay.
You also note with that, the terrain around you further ahead is much more dangerous. Before you actually get to the active industrial part, this place is poorly maintained. There is high likelihood of road, roof, or wall collapse, more natural and less trap-like obstacles in the immediate future. Maybe 10 minutes further beyond, you will emerge into the actual industrial sprawl where there is billowing smoke and actual streetlights. Not many of them, but still very harsh cones of light cast down every 60 feet along these broad open roads. The miasma intense there, even thicker there. All of you with your environmental protection will be okay, but a rupture to that would be very dangerous.
Looking at the drone that was in the sky, did Shay point this out?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say there's another shore point drone keeping eyes on us.
Looking at it, Bob is going to ask to borrow the lima bean glass bottle binoculars.
Okay, you take out the 2 little glass bottles.
Can Bubs do a perception check? When you have an area with like a fan, I imagine these are fan drones or are these propulsion jet?
These are fucking circles in the sky.
Essentially, yeah, they're circles in the sky. They're using a, like, yeah,
Oh, I can barely see. Okay.
barely
okay,
see them.
Forget them.
They're, you know, they're about this big,
Yeah.
but they're circular. They look almost like the light that I have in my kitchen.
Okay. Okay. Pretty good.
A boob.
I'm all set then.
Boob light.
That's
I'm
not-
gonna give the
I've been
binoculars
to my kitchen almost every week, multiple
back to
times.
Gibbs. I'm just gonna hand them upwards
Okay,
like a parasail.
hand back.
At some point, does the danger of the no magic compression thing like diminish, or is that like constant now?
Make a perception check using your laser pointer
Cool.
for a +0 conditional modifier.
No, but I'm using my binoculars because they're handed back.
Oh, +1.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a parasail. now.
so-
So you,
17
you
plus-
hold the binoculars with the laser pointer to give it a little red dot sight. And you
I
look
think
around. Take a
Point out at
+1.5
the-
conditional modifier.
27.5.
27.5. The 27.5, you look across the space looking for these traps. You see one, and then you don't see any more. You have moved beyond the immediately dangerous area, for now at least. But if you continue to watch, you can see there are signs of like danger, less magic or trap related, more just rickety buildings.
Cool.
You can hear the sounds of collapsing concrete and twisting steel in the distance.
I stay on my perch.
That sign over there says danger.
Is Gaia's mutagen considered magic?
It must be old.
Or maybe like a resource?
It's a resource. It has a vague radiation to it and it has a vague magical evanescence as well.
Oh, ooh, that's
Yeah.
not good. My whole body is made out of that.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, and the way that I process it and metabolize it as well. It's also like,
Oh man, we're like a walking trap trigger.
Yep.
Oh
at least we're together.
yeah.
Everyone else is safe because they're not as magical.
So,
Half
Echo,
bionic.
you leading the way.
Yes.
You sneak along. As you are walking, the roads and sidewalks of the spaces around you, paying very careful attention to the dark alleys and recesses, Echo, Shade has already warned you to this. And so when there is a crumbling sound, that is not surprising to you. Part of the roof has given away. And you look up, little bits kind of fall down, but suddenly you are aware of the fact that there are much larger pieces coming as well. Above you, concrete rain begins to fall. And can everybody please, with a +8 conditional modifier, because Shade has given you a heads up about this, make a reflex saving throw.
Hey, be careful.
I have a Gibbs umbrella above me, so I think I might be protected.
Oh, do I get to not do this?
Oh, actually, I did roll.
Yeah, I would say you don't get to do this.
Great.
Dirty 30, and I have
30.
evasion.
Okay.
19 plus, what's the modifier?
Reflex.
8.
Is reflex saving throw.
Okay, so 19, 27.
27,
34.
34.
Fuck.
Because it's the +8.
Oh, I forgot to
Oh,
add
I forgot to add plus 8 as
38.
well.
Very nice. very
35.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't roll very
Oh, you thought
well.
I knew your
The
character sheet
+8
so well. I
was,
knew it was
like,
+8 for
helpful.
you.
No, I didn't.
I was like,
I
man,
don't know.
I rolled well and I can't get that high.
24.
I rolled.
All of you are able
Did
to,
okay.
as you look up and Echo pings danger, the concrete rains around you and you can dodge lithely to the side. For you, Spice, as you move and you turn, the concrete beneath you gives beneath your tactical heel. And
No,
you twist
the
your ankle
heel.
just a
Is she gonna
little
get
bit,
crushed? Can I
Well,
and a massive
Wait.
piece of concrete comes howling down.
can we-
Reaction.
Can we try to-
I want to activate the phase graft. So
Oh, nice.
there's a 20% chance that it doesn't hit me now.
So roll a d20, and if you roll between a 1, I think it's a... God.
20 is
1 and a 5?
You just have a roll of percentile dice.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
that
yeah,
means.
roll a percentile. Roll a d100.
2d10.
Roll a d100. If it's
2d10.
between 0 and 20, then it misses.
Flip a coin 10 times.
Wait, no, between 0 and 20 it misses.
Correct.
That's what.
Oh,
he
that's
said.
not very good. 37.
She
Thirty
said 20% chance.
20% is less than half.
Ooh. Spice.
Yeah.
A roughly 80-pound piece of concrete comes howling down, and it hits you almost straight in the side of the thigh. It twists your leg around as you do take 28 points of bludgeoning damage,
Okay.
and you are pinned just onto the ground. This hunk just slams down into you, and there is a loud echo across this space. Just more little bits kind of pelt down
Can I
around
look
all
up?
of you.
Is this happening because someone's like fucking
You
with
look
us?
up. You can see just broken bits of ceiling. You don't see anybody.
Bad day.
Make a perception check.
Can I remove this concrete?
Yeah.
Spice?
I would say for you, as strong as you are, no problem. You go over and just lift it up. You can toss it aside if you want.
I wash my hands.
Yeah.
Bubs will do it, but he won't like make eye contact with Spice.
Okay, sure.
Bubs will do it, but he won't like it.
Teamwork or help only.
34.
With a 34, you look up and you see no creatures. You do see that drone way back now. It hasn't
Yeah.
followed you. There is nothing that seems to have displaced this. This is just a poorly maintained area.
Alright.
But you see Bubbles pull the rubble off of Spice. Spice looks a little bit worse for wear, but you can all continue to progress on.
Dust yourself off.
Yeah, she'll like get up, like watch Bubbles walk away as she dusts herself off,
We need
like,
to be more alert.
pop her shoulder back in, and
I'm being as alert as I possibly can be. If I'm any more alert, I'm going to take this eyeball out of my head.
Gibbs looks very stressed out. You can see
I'm
the eye
doing
like
the best I
bulging.
can. We
And
all
there is
are.
only one left.
I know. I need it.
For you, Echo, there is a glowing aura in the dark smog in front of you. You can see a few streetlights here and there, but this is a little bit brighter. Beyond, further away, you can see that there are floodlights that are kind of emanating down from warehouse-like structures. This is maybe 200 feet away. With your android vision, you are just able to see. Make a perception check.
Gibbs, I know you're stressed out, but can you like stop
Natural
using my ears as a fidget toy?
Okay.
For a brief moment, the smog clears. Just a perfect cylinder of like a passing breeze. Something has made it so that you just get a perfect glance, and you can see there's a huge sign that actually reads in very degraded writing, Ares Semiconductor Auto Factory number 4. This is lit by these huge square floodlights that are held off angles of the roof. This is a large warehouse, but you can see that there is automation kind of happening as there are just moving bits of metal that form probably like robotic arms or something on the interior of the structure. There is well-lit concrete walls between the roads and the actual interior structures. There is barbed wire at the 18-foot mark of these walls, and you can actually see ShorePoint contractors patrolling and keeping active security of this facility. This structure is jagged. It is a multi-layered labyrinth of steel, concrete, glass. It is covered in a sheen of grime and soot from decades of relentless production. You can see that the walkways have these little lights that kind of blink here and there, forming these like little red beacons almost. They give this illusion of movement of the place, but there is only maybe 2 or 3 guards. There is a network of catwalks, maintenance platforms, spider webs around the facility and factory, suspended high above the ground. And there, with the natural 20, you see not 1, not 2, but 4 snipers on all corners of this kind of catwalk structure. You can see they have scopes that are very high-tech looking. They seem to be beyond just night vision, probably capable of seeing invisible things. There is a much more armored ShorePoint operator who seems to be patrolling that walkway as well. And you can see buzzing in the sky, displacing little contrails of the smog, 4 ShorePoint Overwatch drones as well. These things that have been keeping watch of you, there's 4 of them, just kind of at alternate angles from the snipers, probably spotting for them. The natural 20, certainly spotting for them. This is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
This is a fortress. You haven't seen any automated defenses, but likely turrets and things like that. Luckily, that is a little off to the right. You can choose to just wander through the darkened alleys off and to the left. There are just more warehouses that do feature smokestacks and automation, but a little bit less conspicuous.
Echo sends back the visual when the smoke and smog cleared. with the full annotated information for everybody.
Very nice natural
A
20.
lot of
Very
text.
good.
So
And one last little bit that might is I want to reference where we are with the map that we have where we marked where Bastion's coordinates are.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're making your way there. You're on your way.
But this is
Making our
not
way-
like
Not directly there.
okay.
You are maybe a third of the way, maybe a little bit closer to a half of the way now.
All right. Echo would send that as an attachment.
When when you said that to Kara, do you mean if I looked at my compass and what Kara said, it would be left or right?
Orienting it in the direction of the facility, the compass would swing to the left, and so yeah.
So we want to go around for a multitude of reasons.
but this is a clandestine shore point base hidden within the lower reaches of Crodite.
Clandestine for some, perhaps, but for the two of you who had spoken to Babsley, she had actually talked about being on guard duty with a caravan through these places, moving things from these Ares factories to the base proper. And so not super clandestine.
Okay.
It also appears that maybe Ares has contracted with Shorepoint, and therefore maybe not as adversarial with Jacinto as previously thought. My apologies for a proven false hypothesis.
I love theories. You're always good to have theories. But to the left, to the dark and sketchy place that's not lit up because at least it's not lit up with guns and snipers.
Indeed. Also, please
What?
be careful about using your magical items or passengers when passing by the Shorepoint facility.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's an Ares facility.
Correct.
It might as well be a Shorepoint facility with
But
the
given
amount of
those who are
Shorepoint guards.
manning it, correct. There's no Ares. So like what Babsley had been wearing, that kind of
Ares
Ares
security
security outfit, the Overwatch outfit. Very different than that. You don't see anybody wearing Ares symbology. All Shorepoint manning this facility.
But it's still a facility that's producing
Correct.
Ares material. Or
we're
Ares
not gonna find
Semiconductor
a
Auto
friend here.
Factory.
Just because we're on a job for them. Yeah. You want to scout ahead to the lefty left?
Echo sends a little like salute emoji
Oh, I sent back a heart.
Oh,
telepathically. So
No
does
problem.
Gibbs send back like a heart emoji, or does Gibbs send
Gibbs-
like an anatomical heart?
Gibbs like looks at her hands doing this real quick and like blinks and sends that. It's like,
Nice.
yeah, it's even dumber than.
like out of focus, you can see Gibbs's feet underneath. No
You can see
problem.
part of Bub's bald head.
Artistic.
Yeah. But you're gonna scout ahead. Okay. Make a perception check. You move on 30 feet, 40 feet, just kind of speeding through the darkened alleys.
Tina's cup is doing some good things for me today, and now I've killed it. That's 38.
38. With a 38, as you travel across this
I did it.
space, you reach a point where there is a gate. This gate, as you get to it, it is in such a way that you might be able to find a way around it, but to do so means you'd have to go back past the Ares facility. That would certainly be another stealth check past like the snipers and everything, and then go on the alley on the other side. This is a electronic lock. You can see it seems to be almost like a vault door. It will roll into the actual structure of the wall once it's open, and the little pad is off to the right hand side. It's gleaming. It is new. It doesn't seem tarnished by the kind of elements of smog, and so definitely used fairly frequently.
But this will be a way to get us around Shorepoint.
Correct.
So sorry, it's big wall. We can't go up and over.
Correct.
Okay.
Echo like sends the visual back to the team as they're like progressing through and says, I could perhaps provide assistance, but Shade has proven more effective at dealing with military-grade hardware. And considering its proximity to Ares, guarded by Shorepoint, this is most certainly military-grade.
So shiny. You should open it.
What exactly am I looking at here?
So looking at what you are
Or
being shown,
yeah.
this is a computerized lock
Photo.
that will open a door to a gateway.
Okay. Does it look like it is part of the Ares facility that it is?
Not part of the Ares facility, but certainly not used by the Sludgies. This is either Ares or
Ares or
Shorepoint that is
Shorepoint.
maintaining it.
Okay. So going through, although we do have permission from Ares, right?
Disavowed permission, clandestine permission.
Yeah, I feel like they
Right.
probably.
So we have to probably sneak through in this situation.
I also think we'd have to talk to ShorePoint, and they would have to like relay that, and that's just gonna slow us down.
Right. Well, we
Also,
don't.
ShorePoint tends
ShorePoint
to
has
shoot
no
first, ask
idea of
questions
our
later.
involvement in this. So if we go and try to negotiate with them, we're not going in an advantageous position. So we might as well just try to bypass it without
Homeless
leaving
person
much
walking in the
trace
bar
of their
going, "I know the owner."
interference.
Do we all see the door that Echo showed us?
Yeah, Echo turns
Yeah.
into a
Okay.
tavern.
Do I like looking at this? What is the likelihood that I can actually unlock this without, setting off alarms or alerting anyone to our presence or even the tampering?
Or a loud door?
Just
Like, it's
looking at
just-
it just looks like a lock, and so without connecting to it in some meaningful way, hard to tell. There's always risk associated with
Yeah, we're
it.
gonna have to go either way, right?
Given where you are, probably pretty high.
And there's no round, right? There's no continue left and keep going and then
You
go around the
can
block.
double back. You could try to sneak past Ares and then go on the other side of the facility. That is a much longer. You would be walking straight past the Ares facility
Yeah.
for close to 600 feet, and then you could make your way through some other darkened alleys.
So we go through the door that's risky, or we walk 600 feet across risky to see what else might be risky.
And there's
But
probably
maybe it's
more.
just like a lazy river, you know?
With a combined attempt, perhaps it would be less difficult.
2 heads are better than 1. That's why mutants are really cool.
Unless, I guess we're gonna have to try it, right? Like, yeah, I would start
suggest a quiet approach to the door.
sneaking. Yeah, I was
Make a stealth
Could we
check.
start
Shane.
sneaking my way over to the door.
How does that work? I don't know how engineering works.
This would be computers checks.
Well,
That sucks.
this is a computerized lock, so I can actually make 2 because I can.
Nice.
If I get over there physically, I can use my check and my exocortex check.
And I have a chance of eluding countermeasures.
Love that.
Me and Gibbs are. Me and
Stealth
Gibbs
is
are,
25.
will be look out while you guys do that. And I'll like hand up the
If I exceed it by-
binoculars above Gibbs' eye, like a
Nice.
periscope.
Okay.
And we do opposites, like little totem poles. So every time Bub's looking one way, I'm looking the other way, and vice versa.
You begin to do that, but all at once a shade makes their way across, making a little swirl through the miasma. Both of your heads turn because you can see as Shade exits the alley and into the space that Echo has kind of designated, this little side pocket, there is a little, you can see just barely through the smog, some kind of an infrared laser perhaps, something
drones.
just barely, Shade, you snuck by. And they look at the space that you formerly occupy. You can see this laser points and paints this area, sweeps to the left, looks up, looks right, and then kind of flicks off.
I clenched my butthole for that one. Bubs.
That was a meets it beats it to get over there.
Nice.
And you sneak
It's like, stop
across.
massaging my neck.
You look over at this computerized lock, and if you would like, you can make a computer's check.
I wouldn't
Can Echo
like,
assist
but-
as
You
well?
absolutely can. And so what I will say for this assist, it is not so much that you're like over there and you're both like tapping on the keyboard. It's more really you can give them your ability to potentially avoid that countermeasure.
I also have a control hack ability, which allows you, if you exceed by 5 or more, you can take control of the system.
Ooh.
Cool. I think I have something
Shit,
similar.
has something similar.
But yeah, I have another thing within the mechanic class or exocortex. But I'm going to use both my exocortex and my personal.
Sure. So make one. Which one are you doing first?
I think I'll do exocortex first because that's the method by which they're not going to, typically want someone to be
Sure.
interfacing with this. So
Make an exocortex.
gonna
Computers
have
check.
more juicy results. Okay, that is a 37.
A 37 is a meets it
Nice.
on the
Wow.
CR15 trap.
Damn.
As you enter, you are just barely able to hold a space that is wide enough that you can begin to manipulate this lock without setting off the soul code spike. You know that had you been literally one lower, your consciousness would have been loaded into the door. And that would have caused a tremendous amount of psychic damage as it tore your mind apart. You would have lost resolve, perhaps. It would have probably confused you for a while.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
You'd have to be a
But in
dwarf
this
for the rest of your
moment-
life too.
Yeah, you'd have to
As
ask
you say,
questions.
suddenly just really rigid, turning left, turning right. But no, you feel that that is still a possibility
Okay.
for your regular computer stack now. Manually interfacing with this lock, Echo kind of providing some guidance. Make a second computer check,
Okay.
and this is to unlock the door.
Nice. That's gonna be a 20. Oh, not 20. Sorry, that's just the one number. Math is hard as fuck right now.
Would you like my calculator?
44.
Pop them.
Wow.
Oh,
With the 44, you hear a soft tick, and then the door just slides open. There is a whirl of the smog, and there is a very clean space within. You can see another door, gleaming light. The lock is set so that you can unlock it from the inside easy enough. The inside space, you can see a tiny little gleaming Jacinto brand mini fridge. Aside from that, there is a table and a couple of chairs, but this place largely abandoned. Mostly a place to pass through, and you can make your way in, no problem.
Into a building, not.
It is a
beyond.
very small building. It's maybe like 20 feet deep by 10 feet wide. More of like a hall or a passage
Right.
that has been kind of set aside because it has some kind of a clean air held within it.
Right.
But opening the other door, you imagine you'll emerge into the industrial sprawl. But Shade and Echo, you are the only two that are there. If the rest of you would like to join, make stealth checks, please.
Be careful.
Before we make stealth checks, I want to be like to Gibbs. Gibbs, how are we gonna get over there? We're not exactly the most stealthy.
I don't know. I don't think I physically can.
You can't use magic, so
It kind of is what it is.
Bubs. Oh no, I used that. Fuck.
I don't have anything that's not magic that would help me with this situation.
Do you have anything that makes noise?
I mean, I have junk. I have like cans and nuts and bolts. I could like throw something that way and run the other way.
Yeah.
is there anybody around? Or is it
There's
just the
drones,
traps?
guy.
There's tons of. It's all the shore point peeps.
And it's a 35 DC, I think.
There's
so.
drones up above that.
Just sneak across. You know from Shade succeeding just barely, it's a 25.
Oh, it's
to
25.
succeed.
Which is still very.
Could Gibbs shine her laser pointer in its eye?
That would
So-
definitely alert it.
Yeah.
It's shining a
Can
laser
Gibbs do it?
pointer
Yes.
down to reflect back up any sort of.
You also saw
contact.
when you
yeah.
turned your flashlight on before within the smog,
Yes.
it immediately like
Oh, yeah,
halo
yeah,
effect,
yeah,
so the laser would be very visible.
I don't know. I like your
Yeah,
idea.
that's
That wasn't a bad idea. Throwing something.
Do I? You know, fine. You know, what? Yeah, he thinks it's a good idea. Bubs has never steered
what
me
else?
wrong. I will climb off Bubs,
Okay.
so we make our checks independently,
Okay.
and I will take like a nut out of my pocket, like
Okay.
the nuts and bolts.
Can I assist Gibbs with throwing it by practicing a wrestling move, the Johnny Helicopter, and give her like a kind of like a round spin?
Do you want to
that's
help,
stealthy.
or do you want to try doing that?
Oh, here, you've got long arms. You want to throw this for me?
That might be the best way to help us
Okay.
to throw
Yeah.
it.
Alright, that might help.
Okay. So, Bubbles,
I'll let Bubbles throw this nut that I've got,
make a.
and when
yeah.
he throws it, I'm gonna go.
I want to make also the nut invisible.
Ooh.
Okay.
Throw it.
So easy enough for you. As you touch it, it just becomes invisible.
Good move.
Go ahead, and I will say.
Maybe they think it'll fall out their wall or
I'm
something.
just trying to determine what the
Confuse
best
them.
skill for this would be, because it's not straight strength. This is really about placing this in the right place. I'm gonna say
This is really
Puppy
uncomfortable.
time? Where are you gonna roll that?
Right on the
I
terrain.
only draw Gibbs naked.
Okay.
Really.
what?
Never
What
mind.
did I just hear?
Yeah, we're past this area.
For me, it's just like the ribbed things.
Wait,
Oh,
can we go
that was
back to
bad.
you only draw Gibbs
Nope.
naked?
Nope.
You have to
Have you
sky
seen
dry
that?
face.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Dear God.
You need to look at this.
Go,
at
Bob.
And take a +4 conditional
Hold on, I'll
modifier.
show you what the iteration one
For
looks
being
like.
invisible.
Where's my other note?
What is the thing I'm rolling?
Sleight of hand, +4 conditional modifier.
Okay, so that's 4 plus
Here's the
0,
original one. It was littler.
plus 9.
Oh shit! You guys got an F. 13, brother.
You got a 13.
You got a 13 with
Oh,
the
man.
I
modifier.
didn't think it was gonna be a sleight of
13,
hand.
You whip this nut and you throw it hard. You are strong. It's not hard to throw it far, but you throw it hard and it just kind of yanks straight. Doesn't go as up as you want it to, and it just hits the opposite wall, maybe 40 feet away. Almost instantly, there are just lasers that across. Now, can everybody who still needs to make a stealth check? The DC is now 5 higher.
Damn.
Oh no!
As the lasers actively paint the area, this is a DC 30, and you would imagine, while they are a distance off, that will not allow them to immediately engage in combat. There are 4 snipers.
Can we wait? Can we wait it out?
For them to relax.
Yeah.
Do you want? You've already seen drones kind of monitoring your
Patrols.
progress overhead,
Patrols.
so you can try. If you think that they will just not check out what they were shooting at,
I physically can't make a DC 30.
that is a
check.
choice that
I'd
you
have
will
to roll a
make.
nat 20. My stealth's only +8, and I've got a negative modifier.
So you need
because of-
something different,
You have your teleport.
or that's an option.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Oh,
Gibbs has
she's
one.
got
Spice
one.
used hers.
Oh.
I could stealth by going quietly, or I could stealth by blending into my surroundings. Can I take 5 minutes to
Taking 5 minutes is like waiting for it to die down. Are you waiting? These lasers pointing the area, you get the sense that every minute, every second that you take is making this tougher.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and fail, but I'm gonna fail alone.
You can
guys
teleport.
Gotta go. No.
You could use magic like Mystic Haze. Is it? I mean, you know, is there
No, we
something
can't
you can
use
do to
magic
help
in
yourself?
there.
You cannot. Short
Yeah.
point is on the lookout for that.
You know, no, I think a fog cloud's a better
Wait,
option.
if it's lasers,
than
isn't that
anything else.
fascinating? Gaze a laser.
But they
don't
have
think
all
so.
the magic like
They can sense
detecting
all the
things.
magic. And
Oh, that's true. They
sensing
can
all
sense
the magic
invisibility, they
can also
can
trigger 20 times
what if
the
it's
gravity.
only 2 hit points of damage?
Well,
20
it's just-
times
You
the
got hit by a
gravity.
giant thing.
Yeah.
Hit by a rock.
A piece of random concrete fell on you and you took 30
We
damage.
could split the party and go.
I'm gonna
the
go
other way.
last.
Well, can I?
If you are
What?
all on the door,
No
maybe
magic.
Vanishing trick is magic. Fuck. Damn it.
my teleport.
For what it's worth, Spice cast Vanishing Trick on that nut when
That's
Bubbles
true.
threw it.
Oh, that's true. I
Nothing
totally forgot about
teleported.
that. That was a spell.
Nothing exploded. And so in this immediate vicinity, you know that at least in the next 10 feet, there is none of those traps.
Can you make me invisible?
Are there any of those traps
just-
around as I'm standing in
Oh,
this
we could do the
fucking
teleport.
Literally,
hallway?
the
Like,
Make a
text is
perception
literally
check.
for
just
them? Like,
Make a
what,
perception
the
check.
object
and
you
like,
touch
what are we
becomes.
looking
I'm
at
not-
ahead?
I'm-
Are you
Alright,
gonna
we
go
could-
and
we could
open
do
that door as well?
teleport then, if
Not
we go
yet,
10
no.
feet. That would
So
work.
just
Yeah.
empty
But
room,
then we can't get back.
mini fridge, couple space
I don't know, we gotta
colas.
build the plane as we go. I say do it.
It's a 40.
Yeah, we are really.
We never
With the
used it to
40,
get back with the
no
best ship, so we might as well. I think we should
Traps
do
that
it.
you can see
It's up
here.
to you.
You would imagine this seems to be a place that people would come
So
and
you're
like
gonna auto-fail
rest.
it.
Probably not with their
Almost like a
superiors
guard
knowing.
station.
This seems
Or
to be an
like
unofficial
little
guard
hidden
station.
guard station.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so because Vanishing Trick worked and magic's not hopefully a bad thing here, I'll cast Fog Cloud,
Alright.
Okay.
and that covers the right because the distance I'm trying to run.
So you're
is-
going last, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that in a second. Bubbles, make a stealth check if you're going across.
I feel like you shouldn't go last if you're gonna fail.
Oh, that's
We're
so
gonna have to come
good.
back for you anyway.
That's a
No,
19.
because they're not necessarily gonna pin her down.
Is Gibbs on my shoulder?
No?
Fuck.
okay.
Gibbs should have been on my shoulder for this.
Why?
19 plus 8 is 27.
With the 27 Bubbles, you run across and instantly a laser points across your chest. We'll get back to that in a
It's
second.
DC 30. Very
Spice,
close to DC.
if you had not tried to throw
Oh.
the nut, you would have been fine.
Do I get the fog bonus?
You do not. Gibbs is going last.
Oh, fuck.
What am I doing? Reflex?
This is going to be a stealth
Oh,
check.
stealth check.
So you and Bubbles kind of take off at the same time. You have a chance to potentially make it without this negative.
Haha. 19.
Y'all are rolling like
for
me.
a total of 19.
Total of 19.
You step out instantly, red dot, almost before you even
okay.
begin to move.
Well, now I don't feel
Androids?
bad. I
Now,
want to use a
yes.
spell on this,
You
but I can't.
cast this
Well, do you want to
ability.
hang out with the
You
android? or do you wanna get
obfuscate
murdered like
yourself
these
from
chumps?
this kind of space. Now, what does that spell do?
Oh, hold on. I'll read you my exact text.
Because I think it actually matters here.
Yeah, it,
But
it,
can we
it
just
adds
shoot the
concealment.
fucking-
Oh,
A giant military place with
There's
snipers.
4 snipers, 4 drones
Fog
helping those snipers, 3 solar guards.
Legendary.
The fog obscures
an
all
armored
sights,
guy.
including dark vision beyond 5 feet. Adjacent creatures are granted concealment against one another. Attacks have a 20% mischance. Otherwise, this fog provides total concealment, 50% mischance, and attackers can't use sight to locate targets. A moderate wind disperses the fog in 4 rounds. Yada yada. It doesn't work underwater or in a vacuum.
So, as everybody has failed their stealth checks, Gibbs, you see these lasers and you cast this mystic fog. You give everybody total concealment. The lasers do not deviate, so you get the sense that people can still make shots against you here. But there's a 50% mischance now.
Nice.
As you all dart into this mystic fog, into the miasma and across the space, the two of you, androids, you hear shots ring out. And because it is 8:04 and a great place to take a break, this is what we're going to do. So, and when we come back, all 3 of you are getting hit by these snipers and, well, potentially getting hit.
I never rolled my stealth
That
check.
fog is going
I
to
would really get a
roll your stealth check. We'll see if it's a natural 20.
3!
All 3 of you will be taking shots from these snipers, and then you have a chance to make a mad dash and get away, or perhaps
I
we'll be
like
rolling
that.
into initiative.
Mad dash.
Mad
Now,
dash.
please,
I like that.
please.
Thank you for
Do
sticking with us. There will be a timer on your screen. We'll be back at the end of it.
It's over there.
should we?
and welcome back. For all of you, thank you for sticking with us through the break. If you did, if not, welcome back to our game. We are playing Starfinder, and now you're a part of it as well.
And we're eating cake.
And we are eating cake, that's true. So for all of you, as you made your way across to follow your androids, Echo and Shade, to this door that Shade and Echo together opened, despite the fact that it was well guarded and incredibly dangerous to do so, you had thought that the most dangerous part had passed. But in fact, the biggest danger was all of you. Bubbles, you took a nut and just threw it across, intent on making a distraction so good with this low-tech piece of technology, a piece of metal, that you would take an entire private military contracting squadron off of your tail. This backfired, drawing their attention closer to you, and Bubbles, Spice, and Gibbs, as you all dart across, these lasers trace across, and there is 3 shots that whistle through the dark. Give me 1 second here. All right. Bubbles, it's a natural 20 for you.
Oh, God!
Spice, that is a
Have anything?
39 to hit against you.
Yeah.
What did we concealment? How does concealment work?
Yeah.
Well, we'll do concealment in a second. And then Gibbs, that is only a 28 against your KAC.
Meets it, beats it!
Oh, there you go. So all 3 of
Yeah,
these shots
28.
rip
Yeah.
into you.
I got plexiglass armor, baby.
So now we're going to do concealment. Can each of you roll a D100 for Bubbles and Gibbs? If you roll between a 0 and a 50, it misses.
Okay.
Spice, if you roll between a 0 and a 70, including your phase graft, it will miss.
Okay.
51!
Are you
Wow,
kidding?
that's-
me?
not even fucking kidding.
Rough,
That's-
I
rough.
got a 50.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my
what are the odds of that happening? So
Is that a
Bubbles,
pizza pizza?
yes, Bubbles just barely, you
Oh,
trace.
yes, I got it. I
Damn.
passed.
So it's only me.
51 is wild.
You
That's-
just barely, as you are moving, you can feel the heat, and you, as you turn and look, your shield like radiates. The environmental suit almost damaged, a little bit burned, in fact, from the passage of this projectile, but no problem. And you turn, and it's embedded in Gibbs. But Gibbs, you are unable to take advantage of the concealment. What about you, Spice?
I'm good. I passed with this. Barely, though. I got a 67 under 70.
So this concealment barely working for all of you, but Gibbs.
barely, it was still a 66% success.
That's true. But Gibbs, it did not work for you, and that is a shame because you take 41 points of piercing damage.
Damn.
Why
From a
does
singular
everything
shot.
here hate me? 41.
Bubbles, for you, that would have been 82 points of piercing damage, and likely as that bullet pierces through and then continues, it goes through your body, Gibbs, and then ricochets hard off the concrete and off into the distance. You hear it continue to ricochet somewhere beyond. Probably would have continued to bounce through your body had it continued to hit you, because that was a natural 20. But it didn't. And it ricochets off into the distance, and all of you kind of collapse into this narrow alleyway. You can see Echo and Shade on the inside of the structure. If you want, you can make your way in, and Shade, you can close the door behind.
Yeah, close the door.
Go, go, go! They know we're here!
You
They
all
know we're
pile
here!
in, you run in, Gibbs kind of like careens in through the doorway, and you shut the door behind. You imagine, hearing the echoes of these shots, that there will be pursuit in the very near future.
I'm going to molecularly and hear the door close behind
Nice.
us.
Okay. You trace your hand around it, and you can see it's almost like a soldering iron, where you just across and just burn the door together.
Anything in this mini fridge makes me feel better?
You pop it open. There is 3 very old space colas. You pull them out. No problem.
Nuka
Let's go!
Cola.
And we are running. We are going, right?
We're going. We are running.
Wait, we gotta open the door first, because we haven't opened the door to go out the other side.
I opened the door.
We are opening the door.
Okay. You open the door, and you can see beyond. There is a number of narrow kind of alleyways that you can dash through if you want. There is no immediate end to them. There is like straight ahead by about 60 feet, place where it turns about 45 degrees off and continues straight. You lose track of it maybe 20 feet beyond. There is not a lot of refuse here. It's pretty clear alleys.
So it's being maintained past this point
It just seems harder to get to this point, and so maybe a little bit less traversed. Yeah.
I can go faster and provide feedback if that again is preferable.
Send it. Go fast.
Be careful of traps.
That is the point.
Go, Sonic Ranger.
Go Sonic Ranger, looking for traps.
You run,
Providing
rushing
feedback.
through this space, looking to the left, looking to the right.
Following
Make a perception
the-
check.
At the appropriate pace behind
Sure.
the cleared spaces.
35.
With a 35, you dash through, and as you're moving, there are buildings off to your left and to the right and in front of you. In some places, with these sort of concrete terraces going over the alley proper, on top of you as well. And it is on top, as you are traveling very quickly, that you just catch a glimpse of some kind of electronic light. The
I-
only bit of light that you can see.
I want to be clear about how fast I'm traveling.
Yeah,
I
As
am
fuck.
going my normal speed.
yeah, it's
Okay.
fast.
Okay.
You
My
and-
normal walking speed.
Yeah, still pretty fast.
Yes.
And with your normal walking speed, it is pretty dark in most of these places, but you do catch a glimpse of a light on the second floor as you travel. It is in the second story of one of these kind of concrete overpasses where there is maybe at one point like offices. You can see like broken glass and bits of desks up there. The light itself seems to be emanating from under the door of a closet or office or something like that. You can continue to travel, moving further beyond. There's more of these darkened alleyways. And then if you make it about 400 feet, there is the sensation of air moving before you round a corner, and it opens up to a much wider space beyond. Here, you can hear in the distance the sound of gunfire. You can smell acrid smoke. And what you see in front of you is a scorched approach to the elements that then drop lower to where you know Bubbles' compass will point to. You can see rising up above the ground layer here the huge kind of steel elements that form the caps of the huge pumps that pump sludge to and from, or at one point pump sludge to and from the lowest level up into the top. Now still rusted, corroded, concrete barriers around. You can barely see just the tops of these things. Between you, there is maybe a quarter mile of this like blasted landscape, just destroyed buildings. You can see as your eyes kind of tune into the dark space, there are corpses kind of strewn throughout the space, some older, some fresher. As you spread out the echolocators, you could hear growls and grunts as creatures move through the dark spaces here. There is active smoke, and beyond just the miasma, smoke from fire that kind of wafts and makes it hard to see. There is at least partial concealment through most of this, what is termed the Scorch approach. You can smell the faint of rot coming from this field. And with your perception check, it was a 44?
35.
35. With a 35, you hear these creatures, but you do not see them. Their stealth is pretty good.
Echo like stops and just kind of like transmits their pathway, pointing out any like obstacles along the way for the rest of the team, and says, "I believe I have found the sludge pumps."
Does that track?
Yeah, looking at the map, so this would be the area. It's the straightest approach. You guys have taken a pretty straight pathway, having to deviate very little from the immediate way, and maybe a quarter mile away is the entryway to these sludge pumps.
And this is roughly
For the compass.
where the compass
The
is
compass
still
would be
pointing?
in the actual sludge pump structure itself.
Right, so it's like they're in the pumps. We know that. So
You guys are about 60% of the way there.
okay. So yeah, I guess follow
Get that
to
40
meet up
under my
with
belt.
to meet up with
Yeah.
Echo. Keep an eyes for any signs of shore point or other
At
traps.
this point, if Echo said they saw bodies, I want to activate telepathic spy just to hear what they're thinking.
What is the range of telepathic spy?
It'll be 120 feet.
With 120 feet, there is no immediate telepathy of creatures that are very, very close to you. If these creatures that are in the immediate kind of smog and almost battlefield in front of you, they're either not psychic or dead. And as they are quite still, You'd imagine probably dead.
Okay. Okay.
So we all head towards the scorched approach. You wait for us?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Once Echo realizes that like this is the area that we have to go to for the
So this
thing.
is
Sure.
scorched area with charred bodies of presumably sludgies.
Make a perception check.
Is there a fresh body?
There are fresh bodies around, yes.
Is there a fresh body with a mouth?
Oh,
Not
yeah,
within 120 feet.
Okay.
But yeah, on the across this main avenue and where the wreckage begins, yeah.
36.
With a 36, you look across this space, and yeah, most of them are sludgies, but you catch one that looks a little different. The armor is a little bit more rigid, a little bit more intact, probably a shore point contractor. And so not just sludgies.
What are they dying to?
Make them, from this distance, it would be hard to tell. Make a medicine check, but the DC is incredibly high. Alternatively, you could get closer and make a much lower DC check.
I'm curious about that as well, but in the sense, like, it's scorched, but is it like a chemical burn, or is it like
Similar answer to
incendiary?
Gibbs.
Yeah.
From a distance, it's scorched. Getting closer would yield more information, but would be
If Gibbs gets closer, I would follow behind. And
getting
do-
closer.
No, everything hates
Can't
me
get-
here.
Okay.
No, I don't want to get closer. Cause what? Sorry.
Spice will get closer.
What's the tunnel? We're going in a tunnel, or we're going in a field?
We're
So
going-
you look, the kind of alleyways open up to a much wider open
Yeah.
area. There's no overhanging kind of spaces. It's not just 60 feet up, it's at least 120 feet up, and then just smoke obscures the ceiling.
Yeah.
In the distance, maybe like 60 feet across, it begins to be more wreckage. Like there were buildings.
Okay.
This was probably like a really wide street and then buildings, but now the buildings have largely collapsed, and it is just a big burned open field where there is just like wreckage everywhere, kind of bodies
Oh, okay.
clustered throughout.
Well, we're going that way. So as we go that way, I will look at a body.
Okay.
But
How's the radiation levels here? I've got the sweeper and everything.
It's as high as they've been.
Okay, so but we're not yet in the super sludgy area.
You would imagine
When we
where
go
you
into
see
the
the
sewers,
machinery
we'll
of
probably
those.
be in there, yes. But,
That is the final level of radiation. That is very dangerous.
Gibbs was just shot. How is her suit doing?
You turn over. The suit self heals, but you,
Nice.
Okay,
you
cool.
do have a wounded Gibbs.
Okay.
I duct tape it.
There you go.
I'm good.
Test the self healing.
Wait, okay.
I mean, I can't do anything about it. Like, it is what it is. But
As we get closer, I'm gonna have Cinema Q start recording with their enhanced camera.
Okay. The enhanced camera.
I'm gonna
I don't
Just
think it's.
pop
I think it's
in
probably
my
like only like a level
Mimikyu-
6 item,
my Cinema
but
Q feed.
they do have one.
It's level 3.
3. Okay, even better.
Okay. So with the enhanced camera, it can view a wider band of wavelengths, including infrared wavelengths. It has low
I
light
think
and dark
basically,
vision. 60
yeah, I
feet.
think it's basically the same as my
Okay.
my.
It's
vision.
not as good as
If
yours,
you
but
look at
in
your
case.
kind of feed, there is it looks almost like they are moving through an old-timey television set. It looks like just sparkles everywhere, like snow, like static, and you're realizing it is just radiation. You are looking at the physical effects of radiation. It looks like it's almost degrading the visual that you are
I like that
recording.
detail.
But you certainly get this grainy, almost like 70s horror movie kind of film of you all traversing through this field.
I think Spice will be like to Cinema Q, just like narrating the horror movie.
Yeah, for sure. Starts to take these long, like big scoping
Yeah.
views. Yeah, no problem.
The
You
characters enter.
you make it unnecessarily scary for yourself as you begin to make your way across. Gibbs, you get to a place where there is a fresher body. And you bend down, you can see this is a sludgy, almost certainly. The kind of like body, the head melted into the skin. You can see there are areas where the bone protrudes almost like the beginnings of like a spinal column through the chest.
30. Just
30,
30.
that's on, you're doing,
Medicine?
Can I assist Gibbs with this by examining it from like the forensic scorching point?
yeah, take a +6 conditional modifier
36.
to that. 36. With a 36, you get down low, you look. And as you look, you can see there are areas in the actual flesh itself that is like ripped open and torn open with what looks like it's bigger than bullet marks. It looks almost like explosive rounds. This is technology-driven destruction that happened to this creature. So likely short point.
From where? Which angle did the bullet wound enter?
With some trajectory, you would imagine it is from the direction that you are all coming from.
Okay. So this is... Short point is continuing to hold their line. Grave words.
You grave words. Give me one second.
Did you do the sludgy or the shore point guard?
Sludgy.
This
The
is
short
sludgy.
point guard is a little further off, and you'd have to make a bit more of a concerted effort to get to them. Okay.
Worth it.
What is the percentage that it
10.
works? 10?
Yeah, it's real low.
They open their mouth, and you don't even know what this language is, but they just kind of go, "Rakstar," and that's it.
Nice.
And it's as helpful as it is.
Rexahar.
What if he was just like, I can help you.
Yeah.
Just listen.
You drop this body.
Do you feel strongly about this short point guard and looking at him? Because why would they
How
shoot them
far
themselves?
off is it?
You see Gibbses pointing with their little Yusoki paw, and following the paw, it is up maybe like a 40-foot stretch of broken concrete.
Nope.
It's
too
a little
far.
in the open.
Yeah. Too far, too dangerous.
Can I get to the edge of where it would be perceived as dangerous to look at them?
You can get 20 feet up onto that little, like, it's like a raised
like
element
grave
of concrete,
words, I
and you
was
can kind of
thinking.
up.
Well, so because I'm
Well,
more
they're
like,
for
okay,
grave
we
words
think
now.
so. All of the sludgies have died from short point stuff.
Make a medicine
Is
check
this-
on
yeah.
the short point. So now, 20 feet away, you can certainly make a medicine check.
16 plus
Nice.
22 is 38.
Okay.
Can I
You-
assist again?
Not from this range, unfortunately. It's like a narrow little piece of concrete that Gibbs is crawling up on. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up this particular detail.
Short point guard.
So, Gibbs, as you look, the short point guard is twisted in a way that immediately brings to mind mysticism. This is not the interior pressure of like a head explodey sort of spell, but when you look at them, there is something about the elements of their armor that seems to have corroded and then melted into their flesh, almost kind of cooking them from the inside. The head and the face and the hands look kind of normal, but as soon as you begin to kind of like peer into the armor, it is like blackened skin, and it is adhered to the armor proper.
Okay, I look around at my feet. Within 10 feet, is there steel circle disc of null magic compression?
There is not.
I detect magic. Whose magic is that?
You cast out detect magic, and what can you tell with detect magic?
I can tell the level of the spellcaster, and I can know the spell. I think if I know the spell, something. Hold on, let me look it up on my phone.
This is a level 15 caster.
It's the same. Did Bastion level up further than us?
We never knew Bastion's level. You
No,
just
it-
assumed that he was.
NPCs also technically don't have levels.
He
They have
fought with us
CRs.
too, and he wasn't like super OP.
But like, this
But they do have a caster level.
He was the one thing I do remember about Bastion is that Spice couldn't
I
penetrate his
don't
mind.
think it was Bastion.
Yeah, and I don't think, but level 15 seems higher than I think I was worried about, right?
Oh, level 15 is
Is
accurate.
the one I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Then I'll come back. I'm not gonna grave words him because I can't touch him, so I will not get that close.
Okay.
But I will come back and
This
relay.
is kind of goopy.
Bubs is gonna try to meet up with the group going to where Echo is.
Okay. You
Yeah,
kind of
well, then,
continue
yeah.
across.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will make
Yeah,
your
we
way
can make
across,
our way
kind of
across.
passing
That
with
was
that
just
individual.
Yeah.
Crossing
You inspect
by.
these bodies as you do, like pausing for just a moment to really look at them. But you make your way across to where Echo is.
It is exactly the same.
You can all hear now from where Echo is the sounds of gunfire in the distance, the sounds of grunting. You hear a loud shout, and then it seems to almost split into two voices. There is activity in this region ahead of you.
Let's join the fire.
in the sewage or down into the
Within the smoke of this kind of burning field. So crossing it, there is certainly risk.
Do you get an answer to your question if the burning is fire or the burning is acid? Crowd.
No.
What?
But-
But
smoke of-
I gave you the
Right.
bonus to your.
But can we
medicine
also
check.
answer that question?
In the smoke of this fire,
Yeah.
you'd imagine it's fire.
Oh, okay. It's
I
fire.
figured it was probably just fire.
I missed the detail.
So,
No,
so,
no, it's good.
guys, what's our plan to getting past this, crazy war field that's going up ahead?
I think we join it. Actually, maybe she doesn't say that. Vices are reformed to lady. All of it is not.
Well, we don't know if these people are on Bastion's side or not on Bastion's side, and we're
It doesn't matter whose side any of these folks are on. We need to get through.
We need to provide proof of a nuclear device and also working the sludge pumps in this vicinity.
Now that we're here, it is advantageous.
Seeing as how the door required so much work to open and pass through.
We need to be very careful as we go forward. Any punctures of our suits will leave us vulnerable. It's a weakness.
Okay, so we're just gonna sneak along. We've got cover, but so does everything else about us, so.
I think while the chaos is happening over there, we do what we need to do with these pumps over here.
No, the pumps are.
They're further down. These are
We gotta get to them.
these are
We
the
need
initial
to
pumps.
enter the pumps.
And be aware, too, there are people behind you.
Yeah,
You don't
we
know
are-
how
we are
how long it
rational.
will take for them to follow, but they will follow.
So, but we're here to get the pumps going again, though, right?
The pumps, yeah, so Bastion is within the sewer pumps, which are like a whole sewage system essentially. We have to go
We
further
see the caps,
down.
though, right?
That's like
Yeah.
we see the sewer main that we have to enter to go down into the sewers proper
Yep.
to get to the sewage pump,
Okay.
which is where most likely Bastion is, and also where we're gonna have to.
Where we hope
act-
the nougat.
One way or another, we're gonna have to go there to activate the pumps, but it's also seemingly where or near where Bastion is.
So now we are changing from recon to active.
Yeah, now that
Ah,
we're
we passed that a long time ago. Where's it going?
yeah, we've been.
Vice is just gonna march
We've
forward
kind of passed
into
the point of
pump.
no return.
You just march
like-
straight forward into the battlefield.
door was, I think, that turnaround point.
Yeah, there's
Fair
no
enough. I
going
think
back
It's,
now.
it's not
This
more
isn't even
recon. It's more of
reconnaissance
like
anymore.
smoky field battlefield where bullets.
So are you
flying.
all sneaking through there?
Right,
There's
we're
not
doing
bullets
the
flying
quest,
overhead
we're not.
directly. Not yet.
How wide
But you
is
hear
this
them in the
space?
distance. It's wide. You can't see off to the distance, like either way to the left or right, at least 200 feet. And then up at least 120, and the smoke and the miasma can see beyond.
Do we see any areas that are like maybe a little bit less elevated that we could probably use as cover, like a path?
Make a perception check.
I can see through the miasma with my blind sense up to I think I have to check. I think it's 20 feet.
29.
Okay. The 29, as you gaze out, looking through, there are places that are a little bit lower. It's not any like easier to breathe in the spaces, but they might be a little bit more hidden.
So
Bubs will point that out to people.
we can't actively hear like what's happening up there, just gunfire.
It sounds in the very far distance, and it echoes here in such a way that you don't know where it's coming from. Just the general region.
Okay.
So we're not 120 feet within that range. Can I get within 120 feet?
You're walking in that direction.
Yeah.
I
So
think
once
It's
we get
about a
there-
quarter mile to get to the sludge pumps.
How much is
That's
that in
fine.
feet?
We can see it.
750,
something.
give or take.
Okay.
So when I get within range of.
So are you all
activity-
this through?
Yes.
Okay, everybody make a stealth check. This is a group stealth check. And so we are taking the average. This is better for some of you than others.
Cool.
Some of you are contributing to the group success, and some of you perhaps detracting a little bit more.
Good.
All right.
24!
Hey!
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a real good roll for
23.
you.
23 for
Nice.
bubbles.
25.
25 for
Ooh.
spice.
30.
30.
36.
Yay!
This is good.
Okay.
We did it
No,
in
I got-
order.
I got the
Okay.
lowest.
Oh, just kidding. We always did it in order.
That's okay. You
But only by one, like one. We were all like us three were like we're within one of each other.
Yeah, we're...
Sorry to drag you down, brother.
It's okay.
You make your way across
Bring it
this
down.
space as quiet as you've ever been. For you, Gibbs, especially sticking to the little lower areas, though they're only about like knee-height trenches for everybody else. For you, they're like shoulder height. They're pretty good. And so your bottle can't quite go down, but your body can, and you are a little bit more hidden.
Everything's trying to kill me.
And that is true.
Gibbs,
You
why do you hold
feel
on to that if you don't need to anymore? Now's not the time. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll ask you later.
you feel this really ominous sensation as you approach this place. There is magic that is beginning to kind of rise up in front of you. You can feel an immense magical presence beyond, and you can feel little bits of magic here and there out in the distance. You are aware of the fact that there are almost certainly magical traps in this vicinity, and as you hide and stick close to the ground, it'll be hard to spot them before they kind of come up. But you continue to move.
Magical stuff, and did you feel that, the heebie-jeebies? It's because there's magic in the air.
Now I wish that Shade did pick up one of those null magic things.
You all cross the first 100 feet without any issues.
I'm always feeling the heebie-jeebies. That's like my thing.
Can I perception-y while we stealthy? Or no-y?
Yeah, you can.
I want to be on guard for, again, more things like magical compression traps
Sure.
and just traps in general.
Can I pick up
Perception
Gibbs and
check.
put her on my shoulder?
No, because
Nope.
I'm stealthing. I'm doing so good.
My comfort Gibbs.
27 for
You don't want
perception to look
comfort
for.
spice? I actually have
34.
decent stealth.
Okay.
I'm doing so good.
With a 34 Shade, you do note that there are more of these flickering concrete blocks that are not concrete here and there, off to the right and off to the left. And you know that were you to really look, there are mounds of bones and flesh underneath, tied together with string. These wailing bone totems, kind of almost forming a path that you were all walking along. And had you not had Bubbles point out this like little bit of recessed ground, almost certainly you would have wandered into at least one of them. But you thread the needle between several, seeing them pass off to the left, off to the right, and you find your way 450 feet within. Before Shade, you recognize that there is a problem ahead.
There's
Up
a
ahead,
problem ahead.
you can see what looks like a sledgy on guard almost, kind of leaned against this element of wood that sticks out from the ground, like a signpost or something. And then you recognize, Gibbs, you especially, like many of these other sledges, this one dead, and being used almost like a scarecrow.
Mhm.
But there is something about them, Shade, that, what was your check?
34.
With a 34?
Plus the bottle
Yeah, if you want
would
it.
give it, if
you
it's the
hold-
difference
yeah.
between a 34 and a 35, then yeah, I'm going
I
to
didn't
take
use
the
it for my
frickin'
last
bottle.
perception, so you
So
can
you
have
pull
it.
up the bottle, still holding these bottles, and a 35 does make a difference.
Ooh.
As you pull them up, at first, you had just seen the scarecrow-like sludgy corpse, but now, with the 35,
My God, it works.
you catch a glint of light in the eyes, and you can see, with that, a little gooey pulse of light that traces through its veins and through the elements of this corpse. Almost certainly this is trapped. And you do need to walk either 5 feet to the left or 5 feet to the right to stay within this trench, or you could climb out and walk on the more exposed ground above.
So, either get exposed
A little bit more.
Potentially.
You're still in the smoke. You're
or
still concealed.
go into this trap.
You would be walking within 5 feet of it. You're not walking straight into it.
I would
If it's a
point out
touch
this
trap, you're all set.
I would point out this trap
Can
as
I?
some sort of magical.
There's something so fucked up about Bastion. Like, this is obviously the magic person's using all these corpses, and like, look at these wailing bone totems. And then he's like drugging them, so when they're living, they're like drugged up and fucked up, and then
Kids.
they die, and then they just.
This is an individual who may have possession of a nuke.
I know, but look at what he's doing to people.
Yeah.
Imagine what he could do to people with a nuke.
Gibbs, that resonates with you in particular. Make a mysticism. Actually, make a sense motive check.
His motives aren't
25.
You're
for me.
there's part of that you get really mad about that, but then you realize all at once it's not quite right because you can see elements along the clothes that are snagged up on this piece of wood. You can see places where the arms now dangle limp. The flesh has been kind of scraped up. This person was not placed here. They dragged themselves up and leaned themselves across this space. Even more fucked up than that. This is the drugs that are being used are making these people do it themselves. Bastion does not have to exert any will for this to happen. There is something that is so dark to you about that. This is a perversion of magic and how it should be used. And it makes you feel like Bastion has almost weaponized this psychic disease. You imagine
Hates me and I hate everything.
And you imagine things like Mind Thrust would not work on these creatures. Mind affecting things might not work so well on these creatures.
I share that because this is not the first time we've been here. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a feat for people like us where you can use psychic effects on things that normally don't. I just didn't take it.
No,
I didn't take it like a stupid.
Damn. Oh, well, hey, it's cool because we have an extra level. Oh, wait.
So Gibbs, I think you're right. I think Bastion wasn't like this when we saw him,
But what if that was a disguise and he's always been like this and this is just like, now he has more power and when he got more power he then chose to use it in a horrible, fucked up way?
I don't know. I think either it's one of two things. Either Bastion has changed or they're working with that Lushunta, and that Lushunta maybe has some kind of Zonkuthon or some kind of Zonkuthon-esque kind of thoughts. This stuff is dark and twisted. I don't like this.
No one enjoys this. Unfortunately, our path is this way.
We also still haven't verified if this is Bastion themselves.
I don't think
There
so.
may be others involved.
This is that magic-y person.
Lushunta.
Regardless of who it is, we need to find more by going further. Speculating on their motives doesn't help.
Spice does a weird thing where she points her hands and then she just dives into the ground. And I'm gonna start swimming through the ground like Jeff the Shark.
Oh.
Because of phasecraft.
Hang on one second. I'm just going to double check phase.
Make sure that
I
you don't
like
just
don't even. It
phase
just
into
says
the
you
earth
can like walk
forever.
through. Yeah.
Oh, now I'm in the center of Mars.
It seems pretty game breaking, but
There's gotta be
Mole
some.
style? It always been the game breaking.
it's not like I'm
If we
gonna
ever-
like.
As a reaction to being attacked, you gain a
No.
20% miss chance against an attack. You can
You
use
can
this
walk through
ability
walls.
a number of times per day equal to your Constitution modifier.
Yes.
The
The first sentence is you can walk through walls.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
But that's
Rays
a wall.
can walk through solid objects. Thousands of charged filaments threaded throughout your skin give you the ability to shift yourself out of a phase with this
Damn,
reality.
are you a
The
gray?
phase craft is something that is developed by the Greys. That's what
Are you
allows
a
them to
gray?
do this.
Yeah.
You, as a reaction to being attacked, get a
That's
chance to
it?
be missed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no,
yeah.
the Greys can walk through walls.
Grays,
Now-
the
But
No.
I
So,
interpreted it.
in true Starfinder form, there is actually two different items that can allow you to walk through walls. Phase Graft is not one of them. Phase Graft does give you the ability to be missed.
And if
Dang
you're a gray, you can go through.
Okay, so she dives into the ground
Separate
and
things.
Doesn't work.
just has like dirt on her forehead.
So you just watch Spice dive into concrete.
Why?
It works as well as you think it would.
I'm
Are
gonna
Ah!
keep moving ahead.
Wait, so are you going above or through the trench?
I'm gonna go above.
Yeah, I think
Crawl
I'll look to
out.
Echo to make that the choice.
Before we go out, it's clear that this is a trap, so going out, there's probably another trap. Can I try to see what...
You've
is
already made
out?
perception checks.
Yeah.
And this was the trap that you saw. There might be, but you haven't seen
But
it.
it's
so.
known versus unknown.
Just yeah, you have to pick one.
Yeah.
We are a little bit
I'm
of a
gonna pick
hurry.
the unknown.
Okay.
Okay.
Echo, what are you
were
doing?
gonna say?
I was just going to go that way.
Which is what?
If we activate the trap, there is a chance we will die within it, but not a certainty.
You're gonna go through the trench?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will have Echo's back and hope that I can deflect some of this magic somehow.
So who is moving close with Echo and who is going around the outside of this trench?
I'll follow Echo.
I'm
Bubbles
with
is with
Echo.
Echo.
I'm gonna wait.
Gibbs is
I'm
with
gonna wait
Echo.
Spice
until
of the
Echo.
load.
Spice is outside of the trench.
No, Shade's deciding.
I'm going outside the trench
Okay.
with
For the
Spice.
party!
The two of you crawl out of the trench, feeling distinctly exposed.
Can I take the
Here,
ready
it's a
action?
little bit more open. What?
Can I take the ready action?
So you're not going anywhere?
Can I follow Echo and take the ready action? Is that how that works?
What are you readying? It depends.
So in order to potentially use Dispel Magic, I have to already be in the ready action.
And so that means that you're casting it but not completing it. You do use the spell even if you don't cast it. So you'll use the slot.
Ooh. No, I won't do that then.
Okay.
Because then that means I'm holding magic. Okay.
Gibbs, Echo, Bubbles, the three of you crouch low in this trench and you walk to the left or the right of this scarecrow of an individual. And as you do, Echo, for you in the front, it is like the head suddenly snaps up and directs itself towards you. But can all three of you make will saving throws, please?
Hey, we did it.
For the two of you, you just kind of walk by and you're like, damn, that's crazy.
I rolled good.
You and me, Three-Face. We got this.
27.
27, okay.
Maybe they've got it too.
The dice giveth, and the dice take it away.
Damn, did y'all's just get your minds put into this guy and maybe a door?
Apparently, yes. 10.
Okay.
15.
Oh, I rolled good.
So as this head opens, there is a psychic screech that rolls through all of your heads.
Do we
Oh,
hear
not
it
good enough.
outside
You
of it?
hear it, and you kind of like feel it on the inside of the bones of your mouth, but you don't get the full effect of it. For those of you who do,
I also get a
I got
+2
ceramic.
to any magical effects.
you saved.
Nice. Before with a +2 or no?
What was your roll before?
27.
Yeah,
Yeah.
27
Oh,
of
okay.
fun. No fucking way you got. Yeah, what?
I forgot that I had that thing.
Relax.
Yeah.
So,
How dead am I?
for those of you who fail, you take 47 points of psychic damage, and you are
Damn.
stunned for a brief round. As all of a sudden there is a reverberation that just through your heads. You can feel these ley lines that are underneath you suddenly just glow as these sludge runes that are just kind of emanating out from around the base of this scarecrow, almost looking like mud within mud, just kind of glow for a brief moment. This is a violent feedback of psychic energy. And for you, Bubbles, who pass, you only take half of that damage.
Okay. So I take half a 40.
you
Seeing
take
this
20 points of
happen,
damage.
Okay.
can
Minus my
I try to like...
Well, if they already
Help.
detonated the trap, might as well just.
Well, I know, but they're stunned now.
I'm
so
I'm not
round.
stunned.
For a round.
6
Okay.
seconds.
Yeah.
6 seconds go by.
I'll
you
let
can
them-
see the
I'll
two of
watch
them
them
just like
drop.
rock
Okay.
in their place.
I thought that
And then get
the
back up.
psychic stuff was gonna ooze out at them or something.
I don't think so. I think it's a
But
one and done type
Yeah,
trap.
I think we're good.
Are you? Are
Is
you?
everyone okay? We
I
need
just got
to
a
keep
headache.
moving.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
I
You
barely
okay?
dodged that. That hurt.
I was under a false impression about how these function.
They're like mines.
Yes, that see you.
Onward and upward.
We continue.
You can see, says Spice, who is up completely undamaged by this effect.
Totally fine.
The two of them just walk straight past with the psychic scream just reverberating in your
Psychic
ears.
Scream is dope.
You continue moving
Is
forwards,
that a spell?
and
It's a ability.
you all continue to move another 100 feet, another 200 feet, another 300 feet until there is only 50 feet standing between you and the sludge pumps. Yes.
Telepathic spy, right? Because I'm within 120 feet of the
Oh, nice.
gunshots, right?
So the sludge pumps themselves are several square, well, probably about 4 square miles of territory that are like dozens of these huge pumps, each of which stand about 400 feet tall. So there's several. You guys are entering a dungeon now. What you are looking at is the very tops of these caps that form almost like the roof of this. You'll be descending into this maze of like pipes and pumps and huge hydraulic structures
Okay.
to find Bastion.
What, so where's it? So the gunfire is not?
The gunfire is now behind you and to the
Oh, so
sides.
we passed it. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Okay.
No, you guys, you bypassed
been
2 almost certain encounters. You bypassed 3 different traps, not counting the ones that you didn't encounter, and you managed to convince Shorepoint that you are not a threat. You evaded the ones that you did set off. So largely, hugely successful.
Yeah, we have set off 2 traps so far.
All right, let's.
But
go to the
we are
second layer of
largely
dungeon.
okay.
Wait, I'm tired, Spice. Can you help me?
Honey, I can only do it once per day, so if you want it now, I don't think now's the time.
Oh, are we gonna take a little rest for
I'm
20
down
minutes?
to take a little nap. I can
This
take a
is
little
not
nap.
a good area.
Gibbs,
This is a terrible
if you
place
want-
to take a nap.
Okay.
I can carry you, Gibbs.
No, I
We
can't
need to
do
keep
it while
moving.
I'm napping. I have to
We
think with my
likely
brain.
won't be able to rest until we've made it through here.
Okay.
Echo, can you look ahead?
I can do that.
Scout?
Echo Scouts ahead.
I'm
So-
start calling you Scout.
Question. Are you actually using Psychic Spy Spice?
Telepathic
Telepathic
spy.
Uh-oh.
No, because if we already passed it, I feel like Spice has the wherewithal not to like go backwards.
Okay, no problem. So all of you now kind of outside. What are you all doing?
They want Echo to scout ahead. Echo
Okay.
scout ahead.
Make a stealth check as you approach.
Yeah, sneaking. We're sneaking. So we're in the sewers now. Or
No,
the-
We're at
you
the
are
mouth.
Oh,
you are
we're
50
at
feet
the
away
mouth.
from the kind of opening.
well, Echo's
it's a
entering.
bulk. It's a sealed bulkhead door that
Yeah.
you'll need to go
It's,
through.
it's
Oh.
34?
With a 34,
pump station.
Echo just disappears and becomes a swirl of smoke. Echo, you cross this 50 feet in a heartbeat. You are in front of a sealed bulkhead door at the base of this defunct sewage pumping station. There is rusted pipes that crisscross the walls in front of you, and there are 4 large mechanical valves. These are labeled. You can barely see the paint kind of on them. A, B, C, and D. And they're mounted to the wall on the left and right side of this door. You can see the valves each can be turned to the kind of upward station or the lower station. You imagine affecting those in some way, shape, or form controls this door. And that is what you would see.
Are they all
Do we
middle right now? Or are some of those levers ups and
At the moment, all of them are set to up.
all of them are set to up?
So the doors are up. Right, so are these like the pump controls, or this is the control to open the door to get into the pump station?
Make an engineering check.
Control- I think it's the control to enter, right?
You
Might be-
look.
it might be a gate shut off, emergency cutoff door.
No
That's what
fucking
it
clue.
says.
That was a
Can I-
natural 1.
With a natural 1, what you are looking at, almost certainly, is some kind of minigame.
Could I make a check to see? This is the pump house, right? This pump station. We have made
Yes.
it.
Make an engineering check.
All right, so
Like,
As stated,
this is-
Echo
right.
visually is
Right. So we have
transmitting.
made it. So I am getting this visual. I want to see what.
Can I
Echo,
what
the
we got to
operators.
do with
it gets
this.
closer
Yeah.
as Echo gets
Yeah, yeah,
closer.
yeah.
Operative.
As Echo is crossed and sense no danger, set off no traps, you all feel a little bit comfortable getting closer.
40?
With a 40, you are not looking at a pump house. I'm not sure what that is. You are looking at a. This would normally not be used as a gateway to enter the structure. This would normally have piping attached to it and would lead to like a sewer or an outflow. This is designed for if something backs up,
Yeah.
like an emergency release.
okay,
And so this
exactly.
shouldn't really be used as a door, but you get the sense that manipulating these levers in a certain way will open this. There is likely a main gate that you could enter, probably heavily guarded, but this could serve as a back door or side entrance in. You know that looking at these, at one point there was probably labels that told you what each of these would set the pressure value to. You don't know what that is anymore, and even if you did, with the dams in T-Town and with the Edict of Junk taking up that other place, the values are all completely messed up anyways. So you would need to do
Would be a lot of
something,
math.
you would need to really think about how you're going to determine these values. At the moment, you have really no information.
Can Bubs look at them as we get closer? Can Bubs look for wear and tear? Usually when you move a mechanical lever, it kind of like shaves off a little tiny bit of metal over time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for any like really hard points where a thing might be stuck at. Right. Mostly just like, if it's going up and down from a certain range, that range of where it's like shaved off and stops, I can be like, okay, well, it's moved from this area.
Sure.
But if it's not moved from the bottom, I know it's not from there.
So you look, and it is very strange. It doesn't look like there's any shavings or anything like
Yeah.
that. There is not a lot of like. You're not seeing signs of lubrication. So these levers, they must turn very easily, and there's something puzzling about that. But you don't see signs of incremental values. It's maybe 2 different stations.
So someone has used them or is using them like currently actively. It doesn't show the same signs of wear that like the surrounding area is showing.
It isn't showing the same signs of wear as the surrounding area is shown, but part of that could be due to the fact that this is machinery designed to work with this sludge,
Right.
not corroding in the same way.
So all of the levers are up.
Yep.
Can I just gently push on the door, and I want to see if the pressure in the door is hard right now, if we are trying to go down in pressure or up in pressure.
So you kind of push on the door. There's no give whatsoever,
Okay.
and so you imagine you want to
Super
reduce
steel
the value.
Okay. So there are 4 pumps, and we don't see where they go. Just they go off into directions.
There are 4 pump like caps that you can see, and then there are probably way more beyond.
Right.
That is sort of what dominates the sight line above where you are. And then you can see there is like a bit of a steel overhang, and then the concrete wall in front of you, and those levers are on the wall, 2 on either side of this big bulkhead door that Gibbs is now touching with her paws.
Do we see any sort of wear and tear, or maybe even some like residue of water level on some of the gates? Because sometimes if it's actually like stopping the water, it would tell us, okay, well this one has been used very often because there's a residue of.
It's just a single gate directly in front of you, but looking at it, you don't see any signs of like water or anything. That tells you, again, this is probably an emergency release. If there's any liquid in here, it is designed to be like, it should be opened. These levers, though, all being in the up position, that would indicate that likely
that it's not
They're all closed.
an emergency mode.
correct. And so you would need to manually change the pressure to relieve whatever is on the other side.
Okay.
So can I pull lever A down the middle?
Gibbs, you put your little
wait.
Yosoki paw and you yank it
You do.
down.
Okay, someone
And
had to
as
make a
you
move.
do, you pull it. And there is, for just a brief moment, a flash of blue on the handle, like a little eminence that maybe would indicate something to somebody who is well trained in this machinery.
Yeah.
But for you, who has not like taken the 60-day course on how to operate it, that means nothing to you.
Gosha
But you
is
pull it
upset.
All right, so A is now in the middle position.
down. Okay.
Does
So there's
that
A is
3
in there's
positions?
2 positions,
Yeah.
up and down.
Oh,
You pull it down.
sorry, down. Sorry, I thought. Okay.
Wait,
and the
so
light turned
Is
to
there
blue
a way to get like
on
visuals
A.
of this?
Yeah, I've got. Sorry, I'm working
Okay,
on
so
it.
it's A, B, C, D, right?
A, B, C, D. They're all in up except now
A.
A is down.
Okay, so we
Did
have
that
up,
indicate
down,
any sort of
up,
pressure
down,
change?
Up,
or-
down. So we're
Because
up.
now that this
up,
has
up,
happened,
down,
I'm trying to
right?
figure out how that affected
Gibbs-
it and how the others might affect it to try
Can
and
I press
figure
on
out
the door?
pattern.
Hang on, I'm just looking here.
I think possibly it opened a door that's maybe further up the line. If it's going sewage through the area, it's probably this is an emergency one that's not open, and maybe the last one on the line could be it. Maybe it could be D.
Gibbs, as you pull A down,
Yeah.
you hear on the far side of this door, on the left side,
Yeah.
of a huge steel pin just sliding into the wall. And you imagine that you did something that is right.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, but that was pure dumb luck. So
Keep going.
no. Okay.
You're on
I'll
fire.
be honest with you, in Cypher's system, I decided just to use pure dumb luck, and it's been great.
Okay.
There's a feat for
She's
that.
got
though.
magic hands. Keep going.
So
Roll the dice again.
I start putting my
Surprisingly
paws
good.
on a different lever unless
lever?
somebody else
Is
stops
there
me.
any way that
Pray
it could...
to your
I'm trying
god.
to figure out like if there's a way to determine which one is going to be most likely.
By just staring at them and just considering that, probably
D.
not. But you would need to
Wait,
actively try
wait,
something.
Too late.
You take D and you yank D down. And as you do, for just a moment, there is a flash of green.
Green is good.
And Gibbs, suddenly your paws feel a as the pin slides on the right side of the door.
Oh.
No fucking way.
And this door... There's a little slosh, is about 2 inches of this running, really dirty, brackish green water flows out around your paws. The last elements kind of just gushing down into the floor drains, and you can see In front of you, on a raised platform of steel 15 feet up, a set of narrow steel steps, there are 3 humans that are being forced to kneel on a platform, and another standing at the edge of a pit of bubbling green sludge in a dark room lit by smoldering purple chemical fires that are lit in wall-mounted torches made from scrap, the remains of what have once maybe been LED wall sconces. There is a moment of palpable tension. You can see behind these humans, there is 5 of these sludgies that you have fought before, all kind of looking at you from across this smoking, bubbling pit, and a much larger sludgy like the one that you had left behind. They, however, not like the one left behind, are clad in these flowing robes that look almost... I would say everybody make a flat intelligence check.
Is that the level 15 spellcaster?
Is that Bastion?
Yeah, what am
How
I
are you determining
looking
that?
at? Flat intelligence.
We're looking at a fashion icon.
Yeah,
is what we're
vibe-
looking at.
Girl,
That's
good
a 9.
to see you. I have seen you on the inside.
Purely vibes.
22.
21.
Okay.
Wait, flat intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were doing perception.
Wait, so you rolled a natural 20?
No, I got
Where's
16 plus
my
5. It's 21.
Oh, then I just rolled a 10.
Your intelligence?
9. I'm the talky chatty
Gibbs.
character.
For you, kind of fitting to roll that. When you look at that, and for you, Shade, you remember this maybe through pictures, but what you were looking at, these robes at one point were more of like a poncho, really. And you recognize this. This was given to people from Hakashita Hana when they would leave the restaurant during the rain and these tropical storms that would sweep over top. You are looking at the elements that have now been given to this sludgy from Aras Bay.
What?
And as they look across, there is this palpable moment of tension. And then you can see this individual points out, and as all of them shift and begin to bunch, coiling with aggression, because it is 9 o'clock.
No!
And this is going to be
Can we
a
just
pretty
do the
major
long-
It's
encounter.
gonna be a long fight.
It's going to be a pretty major
That's
encounter. This is where we're going to end for the evening. You guys went well ahead of where I had planned. You guys were supposed to have 2 encounters tonight, and you had 0 instead.
Damn, and then
So-
we found
I can't believe you opened the
Really
garage
well
door.
done.
sludgy
Good for
bastion.
you.
Yeah, I think it's
Also,
Bastion.
yeah, also
Slash
wild.
Yeah,
Also
what the?
wild.
It's like the other dungeon where we just had a ring of keys.
Yes, very much like that. Except honestly, the Ring of Keys one was even more wild than this.
Oh, was that the
This
sad
is
man? Yeah, I remember the sad man.
This if you had done one lever wrong, it would have made everything way harder. But by doing the 2 correct, is
You did it.
because doing
Damn, good guess.
pulling the right levers, nothing happens. Pulling the wrong levers, all of the levers change. And so
Yes.
really really nice.
If Echo used her echolocation, could you probably hear the pressure?
Interesting idea. I would have had to think
Suggest
about
that.
that. But neither here nor there. Thank you for
Didn't have-
joining us for this session of Mosaic Team 5. We'll be back next week, beginning with an encounter around the conversion pits. But if you can't
conversion
wait
pits.
that
Yeah.
long,
That's,
you can join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time when we play Dungeons & Dragons Courts of Everest, as this party is fighting against the walls themselves. And so you can join us for what that seems like. Unfortunately, not all of us will be there, as Kara will not be there. But Sable will be joining us again as the Triton Ranger Hala. So tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. Whatever you do, please stay safe. It is wild out there. We'll see you next week.
See you,
Bye.
space boyfriend.